conditioning experts.
As a third-generation company, we learned to treat customers like family.
We don't charge crazy things like dispatch fees or truck charges. You only pay us for our time and materials. That's it.
Just like if we were fixing the sink for Aunt's soup.
So the next time your hot water runs cold or the furnace is on the fritz, give us a call.
Ryan Brothers, Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning, where you always get the family rate.
Welcome to the family.
Doesn't it seem like there's a mattress store on every corner? I mean, there are more mattress stores than coffee shops. This makes it hard to shop. Beds by Design Mattress Factory has all your options at one location. We eliminate the middleman, which means you pay half the price. So instead of shopping for hours with cheesy salesmen and spending too much, BBD Mattress Factory can find the best mattress for you at the best price. We have mattresses starting at $99, and you can trade them in for life. Stop in. Beds by Design Mattress Factory.
Are you ready to take your pet's food to a whole new level? Nutrisource Pet Foods has a new spin on kombucha, and it's for your dog. Now introducing Kombucha, the perfect topper for your dog's food. Kombucha is available in 3 delicious flavors: chicken, turkey, and beef. Your pet'll love the bone broth, and the health benefits are great. It supports digestive health, hydration aid, contains postbiotics, and palatability support. All you need to do is pour over food, add water, and serve. Find out more and find a retailer at NutrisourcePetFoods.com.
Hi, it's Sandy from Raybon Sew and Quilt Shop. You know, Jennifer and I love stitching all kinds of bags. Handbags, tote bags, organizers. If it's a bag, we like to make it. Join us for a weekend of working on bags at your own pace. For $159, you can join us and make your own bag. Registration includes a 6-foot table, lunch, trunk show, instructor assistance, games, and prizes, all at the Country Inn and Suites. For more information or to register, stop into the shop or visit us at ray-bond.com.
You work hard to make your house a home, and at Onyx Exteriors, we strive to make the outside of your home as warm and inviting as the inside. I'm Blake.
And I'm Ray, owners of Onyx Exteriors. We install the industry's top brands in seamless steel, wood, vinyl, specialty products, as well as gutters, windows, and doors.
And all at a great price. We personally work with you from the estimate to the installation to guarantee your satisfaction.
So whether it's a remodel or new construction, schedule a free estimate online at onyxnd.com.
So I can buy the Chevy truck for $4,000 less than invoice?
Yes, you can at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo. Up to $2,000 customer cash or 2.9% financing for 60 months. Plus up to $2,000 loyalty cash on select new Chevy trucks. Shop the savings on all new Chevrolets today at Gateway Chevrolet. Save thousands with 2.9% financing for 60 months on select models. Only at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB, West Fargo, Fargo-Moorhead, and KPFX, HD3 Kindred, Bison 1660. Powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
We are and here's what you need to know.
On Tiger Woods' watch, second round at the Genesis Invitational, he is 8 shots off the lead. Woods is 1 under for the tournament, +1 today through 5 holes, so he has dropped a shot today in his second round with still plenty of golf to be played. Keith Mitchell is your sole leader right now at 9 under, 2 under today through 8. And besides him, you've got Colin Morikawa and Max Homa, 2 shots back, both tied for second at 7 under. Meanwhile, in the NFL, according to NFL Network, a deal to make Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy the Commanders' new OC could be finalized as soon as today. And assuming that goes through, Kansas City would then have Matt Nagy fill Bieniemy's spot. Elsewhere, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce will be hosting Saturday Night Live on March 4th. I'm Brian Fenley.
You've got the insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proseed. Need seed? Think Proseed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders.
Insiders.
The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
Locked and loaded and ready for you on a Friday edition of the show. How we doing, Bison Nation? It is the Insiders with you. Final day of the week. And we're basically just watching golf in the studio today. That's basically what is happening. Myself and Kyle Emanuel one more time this week. Micah Bindi also in here with us. Plenty to talk about. Plenty of things to go over. A little celebratory Friday because both Bison basketball teams get a win last night. The men go on the road, get a win against Kansas City. The women hold things off. They're late, come back, trailing by 6 at the half, come back and get the win over Kansas City. Still in the driver's seat for the 2 seed. And a big game coming up on Saturday for the women at home against Oral Roberts, and the men on the road at ORU as well. A couple of big opportunities for both the men and the women. Plenty to go over with those. We'll go over that in here in just a little bit. But we do have Tiger Woods currently on the golf course at Riviera Genesis Invitational. Had a good round yesterday. Went, I think it was 3 under in his final 4 holes. Was playing well. Ends up at 2 under. Today already on the course and not quite going as well from the fairway here for Tiger. But something good just happened because I saw a double fist pump from Kyle Emanuel. So Tiger must have just done something really well.
Well, par save.
Par
About
save.
A 12-foot
Up
par
and under.
save
There you
after
go.
I was telling you, Andy, we saw just before we came on air, he hit like a 340-yard drive. He was 118 yards out, and he chunked one. He legitimately chunked it. The greatest golfer of all time does it. So I was like, hey, he's one of us.
Yep.
He chunked one from 118 yards out, missed the green, had an average pitch shot, had 12-foot par, and made it. So he's one over for the day.
Me and Tiger Woods, very similar. We both chunk our approaches. Thing that is not similar is me making the par save. That's very unsimilar.
Correct.
But so what is he at? 1 under still?
1 under.
Okay.
Finished yesterday. Like I was telling you before we came on air, I was all excited to come on and talk about it. He had such a great round yesterday. Finished birdie, last 3 holes. And then I was like, oh, wait, he's going to tee off before the show starts.
Yep.
I hope he doesn't screw this up. And he kind of has. So quick analysis. He should have birdied his first 2 holes. Missed very makeable birdie putts. Pars his first 2. Then he goes bogey. Then he almost gets an ace. Like legitimately 8 inches away from a hole-in-one. Birdies that. And now he has a par save. So he's 1 under on for the week.
For the week.
1 over for the day.
Yeah. And only through what? 6 holes?
I believe 5.
5? Yeah, plenty of time. He's going to get some birdies
5 or
here.
6, yeah.
He's going to get some birdies here. He is 8 shots back of Keith Mitchell, who's got the lead. 2 under for the round, 9 under for the tournament for Keith Mitchell. And the guy that I talked about yesterday, maybe a possible breakout star, or not really already breakout because he's already kind of a star, but Colin Morikawa, 2 under for the round. He's on 7 under for the tournament. A guy that could have a big year ahead of him.
Do you remember who I said?
No, I remember that Corey Herlichson said Rory McIlroy.
I said Max Homa, who was tied for the lead. Well, he hasn't teed off yet today, but after round 1, he was tied for the lead at 7 under.
Yeah.
So
still 7 under, only 2 shots
smart.
back. Yeah, there you
Making
go.
look smart there.
And Tom Hoagie also still in contention, 4 under for his first round. Tom gets going after the show today, right around that 150 mark for Tom Hoagie, who is 4 under, shot a 67 in round number 1. Loaded guest lineup for you, though, on a Friday as the seasons start to change a little bit. You get into the month of February. Obviously, the winter sports are still going on. We've got basketball, the men and the women still in the heat of Summit League play. Wrestling wraps up their kind of regular season, you could say, this Sunday, this weekend at home against South Dakota State. So a bunch of things kind of starting to get towards the end. Light at the end of the tunnel, you could say, for the winter sports season. But the spring sports season is now underway as well. Softball's already gotten going. They won yesterday against Sacramento State. And Bison Baseball, defending regular season champions in the Summit League from a year ago, they get going today. Game number 1 for Tyler Oaks and Company, 6 p.m. out in Sacramento, California, against the Hornets of Sacramento State. And the head coach, Tyler Oaks, will join us at 11:30. Make it a weekly appearance for the head coach every single week, and they catch up with him as this baseball season continues to go on. And obviously, once they return home and start having some home games at Newman Outdoor Field, we'll have plenty of those games right here for you on Bison 1660. So 11:30 for the head coach, Tyler Oaks. At 12:30 today, we had the best possible topic and guest for Kyle yesterday, talking golf. He loves that with Corey Herlichson. Not as huge of an NBA fan, if I remember correctly.
No,
not really. Not going to be watching Team LeBron versus Team Giannis this weekend?
No chance.
Out in Salt Lake City?
Not a chance I'm watching that.
Ever go to Salt Lake City?
We landed there when we played Weber State, I believe.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Back in 2014. I think that's the only time I've been there, though.
Okay, I figured nothing with the NFL. Obviously, no teams out
we
there.
We landed there, and I believe we stayed there, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
And then we drove whatever it was, hour.
Never been there myself. Heard good things. But that's where the All-Star festivities are. Not talking a lot of the All-Star game, but some NBA topics with Brad Jones, who will be in studio, our basketball guru, back in the studio for the first time really since the Bison Tailgate Show during the football season. So fun to have Brad back on. And maybe a question from Micah about the fantasy league that he's getting into as well. If Micah has a question there, we'll allow him one question about fantasy sports to the commissioner of the League of Leagues, one Brad Jones. But those are a couple of the guests. And coming up here in about 7 to 8 minutes, you said yesterday you hadn't talked to her in a long time, so figured we want to have her on. Logan Campbell will stop by from WDAY as well. Logan obviously does sideline reporting for football, but also for Bison basketball here for the men and the women at all the home games for WDAY. Was there last night as the women got a win, been there for all the games this season. Get her thoughts on these Bison basketball teams at 11:15, and you guys can catch up. There you go.
Hopefully we don't. I believe the last time she was in here, we started talking about reality TV shows, and
that was brought up.
Love Island or something.
Who was on that? Andy Voyan.
Yeah. So hopefully we can avoid that this time.
I don't think I have any questions for it unless you do.
I don't. I never watched it. I don't know anything
Neither
about
do
it.
I.
There's a new one coming up about farmers. You see that on
I've
Fox?
seen
It was advertised
commercials
for the
for it.
Super
Yeah.
Bowl. It's like, that one looks interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm going to watch that one either.
Oh, yeah, probably not. But, I mean, if
Jackie into those at all?
No, not really. Not anymore.
You got lucky
No.
then.
Yeah, she used to be into The Bachelor a little bit, but not so much anymore.
Fair enough. So Logan Campbell will stop in here in about 10 minutes or so. 11:15 we'll have her on before we get to Tyler Oaks. But a couple of thoughts from last night as both Bison basketball teams get important wins, and every win is important the whole season, but man, they take on a whole lot more importance when you've only got 4 of them remaining. The Bison men, 2-game winning streak. They have to go on the road to a kind of a strange environment in the Sweeney Center. It's not really an arena. They've got some seating there, but it's just a strange venue in my opinion. A good team also in Kansas City. It was only a game behind them in the standings. They go in there. Grant Nelson has another great game for the Bison. Bowden Skunberg also plays really well, and they get a victory over Kansas City there on the road. 3-game winning streak for Dave Richmond and company. Micah, you did Bison shoot-around. You were there with the game all last night with Rob Hipp. Your takeaways were what?
Tough first half for both teams offensively. Dave Richmond described it as a rock fight, not many balls going inside the hoop in that first half. And then the first team to get comfortable was NDSU, and then they showed that in the second half, flexed their muscle. Grant Nelson, his 4th double-double in a row. He could end the season on double-doubles. He might just go 7 straight. The rest of the year, just double-doubles, and head into the Summit League tournament on a good note. Second half, the
22
Bison
points, 14 rebounds, also 5 blocks for Grant Nelson.
The Bison really picked it up in that second half. They held Shamari Allen to like 7 of 25 from the field. That's one of his worst shooting performances of the year. And then Raquanis Mitchell, I think he was like 5 of 15.
Yeah.
They made it really tough on him. I don't think they got above 40% shooting for the entire game at any moment. Great team defense. It wasn't just one guy on either of those best players for the Roos. Just great work on the defensive end, and that's what a Dave Richmond team does.
Yeah, they hold Kansas City to 30.3% from the field. That's like an okay 3-point shooting percentage, but field goal percentage, that's way down. 27% from 3-point land. Only give up 16 free throws in the game. Meanwhile, NDSU goes 14 of 16 from the free throw line. 46% from 3, 7 of 15 there. That's a great output. Bowden Skunberg hit 3 of them to Travis Miller with 2 for 5 from deep also. You get 1 made 3 from Grant Nelson in that 22.14 rebound performance from Grant. That's a big-time win, and it almost, I was watching this one close too, almost pulled them within a game of second because SDSU was in their own rock fight against Denver. They trailed at halftime, I believe, by 9 points against Denver. Still trailed like 5 minutes left in the game, but SDSU does what good teams do with a good pedigree. They come back late. They make the plays they need on the road, and SDSU got a 5-point win over Denver. So there's still 2 games ahead of NDSU for that coveted 2 seed in the Summit League tournament.
As I was doing the Bison wrap-up show, I was making sure to pay close attention. I did. There was like 6 minutes left when I was just signing off on the Bison wrap-up show, and Denver still had the lead then. So I was like, maybe Denver. It's that weird game where it's elevation, Maybe that could be it, but SDSU did not have a good first half, but they come back and win, and still some games to play. SDSU could drop a couple here late because I believe they end the year on you could say, just as tough of a schedule as NDSU does.
Yeah, absolutely, you could. And they've got some games out there that are going to be difficult, especially here on the road. Got one more coming up. Now, Omaha hasn't really presented much in the way of slowing teams down, much difficulty for teams, but you look last night. What Omaha do? They got a win at home against USD, and we think USD is a pretty solid team. But they beat the Coyotes 80-72, and that's going to be the next one up for SDSU. The men now will travel to Tulsa to take on Oral Roberts, who has not lost in Summit League play, but just played a 3-point game, 73-70 against UND. The Fighting Hawks were down by 20-something at half, had like a 25-4 run, got back into that thing, but not able to get the job done. Oral Roberts improved to 15-0. On the women's side, they get the win. That's really all that matters. They win. It looks comfortably at the end. Win by 11, 86-75. It was a 6-point deficit at half, a 2-point deficit going to the fourth. It was just a game with no momentum and no rhythm. There was 52 combined fouls in the game. A lot of fouls. I think there was a stretch of 8 straight possessions with some sort of whistle, whether it be a travel, whether it be an illegal screen. There's a lot of illegal screens. I don't know if the rules changed between games. There was a lot of illegal screens.
Emphasis, something like that.
Something like that.
You just do that in the NFL. Like, oh, we're going to emphasize this, and then they call it a million times. Usually in the preseason, not late in the basketball season.
Yeah, change it up mid-season anyway. Yeah, but you had 4 players for Kansas City at the end of the game that had 4 fouls. One that fouled out with 5. And they had some players with 4 fouls going into the fourth quarter, which is very uncommon. Usually you can't bring in players who have 3 fouls after the third because you don't want them to get to that 4th foul, but they really didn't have a choice. NDSU had multiple players with 4 fouls, too, and it was both ways. Both teams had 26 fouls in the game. There was just a lot of whistles and hard to get any momentum. But in the fourth quarter, Heaven Hamling does what she does, got a bunch of points, and helped propel the Bison to a victory, 86-75. UND beats Oral Roberts 108-100. So NDSU and UND now tied in second place. Still, everything ahead for NDSU. They're in the driver's seat. If they win their last 5 games here, or not 5, last 3 games now of the regular season, and they win out, they will be the second seed in the tournament for the Summit League, and something they've never done before in Summit League history for the Bison. And Tiger Woods must have just missed a putt or shanked a drive into the rough.
He missed a just under 5-foot birdie putt on a par 3.
One's gonna hurt.
That's his second one.
Yep.
Second birdie that he's missed right around 5 feet.
Got to make the putts, right? And he's usually a great putter, but right now,
he obviously in his prime, he was probably and one of the things he did better than anyone was par saves. Like he has a 10-footer for par that you got to save this to keep.
He just did.
Like he just did on the last hole. But today, for whatever reason, yesterday I thought the putter looked good. He didn't make a ton. He did make like a 25-footer for birdie. But he didn't make a ton. But he also didn't miss the ones that he was supposed to make. You know what I mean? Like the ones inside 8 feet. I think he missed 1 all day or something like that. Today he's already missed like 3 or 4. So
plenty of round left.
My hopes are dwindling
hey,
quickly.
You lose hope quickly, it feels like.
I know. Why do you think I'm bad at golf? I mean, part of it's the swing and everything, but like part of it's the mental side of it. I get too hard, get down on myself, get hard on myself.
Tiger, if he was asked right now, will you win the tournament? He said, absolutely.
Probably.
Yep,
and that's why he's the greatest golfer of all time.
That's why he is Tiger Woods, and we are who we are. So 2 big wins for Bison basketball there last night. We'll talk about those a little bit more as the show continues. We do have plenty of tickets to give away for the final home game of the regular season for Bison women's basketball. They face Oral Roberts at noon on Saturday. Noon tip, not a 1 o'clock tip like most of them have been. It is a noon tip for NDSU and ORU. We have plenty of tickets to give away, so let's give away our first pair right now. A pair of tickets to the game on Saturday to caller number 2, 701-476-1660. You win a pair of tickets to NDSU and Oral Roberts Senior Day and the final game inside the Shack this season for Bison women's basketball. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Logan Campbell, WDAY, joins us when we come back next.
This is the Insiders on your exclusive home for North Dakota State Athletics, Bison 1660.
So most companies claim they have good people, good product, good customer service, but the question is how often. We go the extra mile to take care of our dealers and our growers, and more importantly, their families and their customers.
Proceed tries to bring a family-like experience. Farmers, we want to understand what their challenges are. We also want to bring products to them that help them overcome those challenges so that they can be as successful as possible.
Need seed, think Proceed. Proceed.net, great seed at a reasonable price.
Businesses should know that Consolidated Communications has the only data center in the FM area that is SOC 2 certified. That means Consolidated has tested reliable systems in place to protect your valuable data. That's more important than ever with today's security concerns. Many business insurance companies require SOC certification at data storage facilities. You should work with a local data center that is SOC 2 certified. For scalable, cost-effective data center solutions for your changing business needs, go to consolidated.com/data center.
When it's time to make your next move, turn to Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty to put the full court press on your home search. Whether you're looking for a quiet home in the suburbs or something downtown, let Todd Kettermas run the point for you in the search for your dream home. Call Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty today or visit him at 4832 Amber Valley Parkway in Fargo. Todd is a proud partner and the preferred realtor of NDSU Athletics. Todd Kettermas with Beyond Realty, moving the herd one home at a time.
Theraldson Ethanol in Castleton is accepting applications for an E&I technician. Applicant must have experience with electrical and instrumentation repairs and maintenance of large machinery and equipment, as well as a willingness to learn procedures for the ethanol industry. Journeyman electrical license or greater is required in addition to 3 years of experience. Work Monday through Friday from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Apply online at theraldsonethanol.com or email your resume to hr@theraldsonethanol.com.
Hi, it's Sandy from Raybon Sew and Quilt Shop. You know, Jennifer and I love stitching all kinds of bags. Handbags, tote bags, organizers. If it's a bag, we like to make it. Join us for a weekend of working on bags at your own pace. For $159, you can join us and make your own bag. Registration includes a 6-foot table, lunch, trunk show, instructor assistance, games, and prizes, all at the Country Inn and Suites. For more information or to register, stop into the shop or visit us at ray-bond.com.
Hey, business owners, you have your banker, you have your insurance guy, but do you have your door guy? Now you do. DavTech Window Services also specializes in commercial door and window repair and replacement. DavTech is proud to be known for their excellent commercial services as on the NDSU campus. Choose the door and window experts that will deliver top-rated products as well as the experienced technicians that do it right the first time. A decade of service with a century of experience. Online at davtechwindowservices.com. That's davtechwindowservices.com.
Missed portions of today's show? Go to bison1660.com to listen to the podcast or find us on Facebook and Twitter at Bison1660.
Welcome back into the Insiders inside our Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. Theraldson Ethanol produces 175 million gallons of ethanol per year and roughly 400 tons of livestock feed per year as well. Online at theraldsonethanol.com. And this hour of the Insider is brought to you by the great team at Rick Electric. Been serving this area for over 56 years, commercial or residential. Trust the pros at Rick Electric for all your electrical needs. Greg Rick and his staff do a great job there online, rickelectric.com. Back in here with you. Is there an update, Kyle? What Tiger doing yet?
No, we're in a commercial break.
Commercial break. Okay, we'll keep tabs on Tiger Woods. No doubt about that.
I'm sorry. My energy is going to be a little bit low today. Tiger's missing putts, and I'm just not happy.
Well, this was my backup plan in case Tiger wasn't playing well. I was going to bring in your good buddy from WDAY, Logan Campbell. Nice enough to join us in the studio. How you doing?
Me good. How are you?
Great to have you back in. I think the last time we had you in studio, this guy was also here. So
yeah, I think it was summer.
Yeah,
right before the season. Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah, there we go.
Ago.
Yeah, it's been a little while. How you been?
Good. Busy.
Yeah.
Busy. Yeah.
What's different for you this year? It's just like year 2.
Oh, I just feel like I know everything and it's so much better. It's like night and day coming into year 2 because you actually have your bearings. You know what's going on. So it's been a lot more fun and a lot better this time around.
You kind of figure out the city a little bit too.
Oh, yeah. I know how to get places now, know who I'm talking to, see some familiar faces. So it's all good.
You're used to winter now.
Used to winter. That was probably the biggest adjustment, which was
let's put you on the spot. Which one do you like better, sideline for football or basketball? Or are your bosses going to get mad at you?
No, I don't think they'll get mad. I think
the coaches might.
The coaches might. There's pros and cons to both. I think with basketball, the teams are smaller, so you get to know the players and the coaches
Don't
a lot
have to
better.
walk as much.
So you
Smaller
sit
court,
the whole
yeah.
time, which is nice compared to standing 8 hours a
Right.
day for football to getting to sit. But, you know, you get to know the players and coaches a little bit more, so that's fun. But just football, the environment for football is awesome. The Shack has had some great environments, though, this year. UND, Oral Roberts, those were really fun.
The Minnesota game for the women earlier in the year.
Minnesota, yep. Even UND for them, too.
Yep.
That was really fun. So, yeah, there's pros and cons to both. I really like both. So, I don't know.
Well, then put you back on the spot. Who's better to talk to post-game, Jory Collins or Dave Richmond?
They're both so great. They're so good at just, like, you know, you see Dave, like, screaming at the players, screaming at the refs. Then he comes to me, flips it off. He's like, oh, Logan, like, we're just not playing so well. And I'm like, oh, okay. They're both great. Dave is funny. Dave is, like, we have a relationship where he can throw jokes at me, throw little jabs, and I can, like,
throws
give
them
it
at
back.
Dom, too.
Throws them at Dom every single post game, which is funny.
That leads me. I was going to ask you about that because me and Andy were watching yesterday. There's some things circling social media yesterday. With actually, Hot Mike put it out of Dave making fun of Dom.
He's done it 2
I
weeks
thought
in
it
a row.
was hilarious. You work with Dom.
Yeah.
You interviewed Dave. How did this come about? Is it a new thing or like is it just kind of how their relationship is?
Oh, this is a new thing.
Yeah.
I mean, so Dave goes on Hot Mic every single week. So they obviously have a great relationship, and they have a relationship where he can do that. I don't think everyone has a relationship like that.
Yeah, Dave's been around here for a long time. So
Exactly. So I think, but he just started doing that as of like 2 weeks ago, and it's after every post-game win, he's got to say something about Dom right off the bat, and I think it's funny.
My favorite was when he said when he's talking to you, and he's like, "Our defense was just like Dom trying to transition to you after the game is lazy and slow or whatever." It was.
As he said that, I was like, "Oh man, that was pretty good." He said one the other
Zinger.
week, and he was like, he said the same thing. He's like, our first half offense was not pretty, just like how Dom dresses every Saturday. And I was like, oh man, another shot at Dom, but Dom takes it well, so I think it's well
You
received.
got to be able to laugh at yourself. You absolutely do.
For sure, yeah.
So let's talk about these basketball teams a little bit. You've seen all the home games for both the men and the women. You saw the women last night get a win. Not pretty,
but they got it done.
What'd you think of the fouls in that game last night?
Gosh, the refing this year,
52 of them.
The refing this year has been a little questionable at home from what I've seen. There's been a lot of calls, a lot of missed calls, a lot of calls I was like, oh, I don't know, but yesterday was crazy. I will say they were consistent calling it on both sides.
26 on each team. It was very consistent. Yeah.
But man, that was like a drawn out game because of all the fouls that they were calling, and I don't know, just people were like, what is going on? So I mean, but they're able to get the job done. It was a little bit. I was talking about this earlier on Hot Mic with Dom. That was not typical Bison play that we're used to seeing at home. So tomorrow should be a good one.
Yes, tomorrow they're going to play a little bit better.
Roberts.
Or Roberts is coming in off a game where they lost but scored 100 points. They lost 108 to 100 to UND. So they can score the basketball. NDSU, when they faced Oral Roberts earlier this year, went 1 of 20 from 3 and had a lot of wide open looks. So hopefully shoot the ball a little bit better at home, get that win. If they finish the season with wins here in their final 3, they will get the 2 seed in the Summit League tournament, which they've never done, which is going to be huge.
And apparently they get NIT. They get an automatic hit in the NIT. They get second seed.
So there's some
Lots to
things.
play for.
Yeah, there's definitely some things to play for. It's already been a historic season, but a lot of things still on the line. What's impressed you the most from the women's side of things when you've seen their games?
Just the turnaround from last year to this year. The way that they play together, they play as a team and very cohesive, which, I mean, for coming from last year to a brand new team, wasn't really expecting that. And they just said the energy and the vibes are different, which we can tell when they play on the court. So they've been really fun to watch and cover this year. I've really enjoyed it.
Let me ask a question to both of you, since you both cover women's basketball. Andy, you obviously are at every game.
Yeah.
Logan,
I
the
forgot
home
that.
games. Yeah, you are there.
Yeah.
What? So they've been obviously this team's played phenomenally well at home, right? A little bit less on the
10-1.
road. What's kind of been the difference, I guess, that you've seen from the road to the home? Is it just the atmosphere? I know we talked. Maybe this was with Rob, but like. It's a weird thing in basketball. Like the depth perception is different. You know, when you're on the road, it's a venue you're not used to. Is there something you see, or is it just one of those weird things?
I'll go first. Yep. I think all teams play better at home. I think that's obvious in any sport. Like
Usually,
football plays better at home than they do on the road, right? But there is something to the shooting, and it sounds like a weird, dumb excuse to a lot of people that maybe just aren't around the team or don't play the game. But when you're used to shooting at home, you see how far back are the stands from the hoop. And it's a weird thing, but it's just how your eye perceives things. You don't even think about it while you're shooting, but it is different. They've shot the ball much better at home from three-point range. They really have. And that's been a telling stat for the women's team this year. When they've made 6 or more threes, they're now, after last night, they're 12-2. When they don't, they're 3-8. And shooting the basketball is more difficult on the road. I remember the game last week on the road at Omaha. They play in Baxter Arena, which is also the hockey arena. Well, it's a huge arena. There's a lot of space behind the basket and the stands. Just depth perception looks a lot different, so they don't shoot the ball as well typically on the road. Most teams don't. And when they haven't shot the ball well, they haven't had the results, really.
When I've talked to Jory and just players, they said they can't tell what goes wrong on the road. They're like, Jory said that they stick to a schedule. They know what's coming. They do it every single time they go on the road. They just don't know what it is. They don't know why the energy is so low. Granted, they're traveling these far places, long bus rides, so maybe that has something to do with it, but they can't even pinpoint why.
Yeah.
So
and they've had great practices on the road, too. Like, before that Denver game last week, after the loss to Omaha, they had a phenomenal practice on Friday, a great shoot-around, tons of energy. I thought they looked great. And then it came out, and and give the other teams credit, too. I mean, Denver played a really good game. It was their senior day. They came out firing. So other teams have played really well. I think NDSU is now at the point, too, where, they're a top team in the league. When they come into your home venue, everyone gets up for it a little bit more. It's not quite the level of SDSU coming into town where everyone gets way up for that one because you want to try and shock people and get a win over the Jackrabbits. But NDSU's been one of the top teams all season long. You want to get those victories, so teams have been prepared for them. That's kind of been the story, at least on the road for them this season. But still, again, everything in front of them. Get a couple of wins here down the stretch. You do lock up at that 2 seed and everything you mentioned as well. The men's team playing well, too. Got a win on the road last night.
That was huge.
Which was huge to get this, not just home wins, but wins on the road. And they go to Oral Roberts on Saturday as well for a chance to give Oral Roberts their first loss in conference. Have you gotten a step stool for talking to Grant Nelson post-game?
It's so funny. I have people come up to me. They're like, you got to get a step stool when you're talking to all these people. I feel so bad. Like, Dave Richmond has to bend like halfway down to talk to me. I actually was saying we need to start getting one.
I would need one, too, to talk to Grant
Nelson. Get one of those mics with like something connected
like a pole.
to it.
Yeah, like a selfie stick pole.
Yeah,
well, I'm
exactly.
like going like this. I feel like I'm in like 4th grade when I'm talking to Grant Nelson because I'm so short. But it's funny. I told him after last game, I was like, I feel like we talk to you after every single game because he just pops off at home. But they've been really fun to watch. He's been really fun to watch and just see grow this season.
Obviously, the win at home against SDSU for the men. Oral Roberts is really, really good. What do you view as the outlook for them in the Summit League tournament? If they get in probably as the 3 seed here.
Yeah, I could see them getting in as the 3 seed. I think Dave Richmond's teams always play well at this time of year. They have full momentum heading into the Summit League tournament, which is huge. If you're going to peak, I mean, now's a good time to do it, I guess. But a win over Kansas City is big. They haven't beat them, 4 games? It's been a while since they've beaten them. So that's really big. Obviously, Oral Roberts is so good, so we'll see how tomorrow goes. But they did almost lose to UND, so you never know. But these next 2 games back at home, it'll be interesting because they haven't beaten St. Thomas or Western Illinois. Those teams are also trying to get the 3rd spot, right? Yeah, so
and that'll be the matchup at home next week.
Yeah, so I don't know how the end of the season and how the standings are going to be heading into the Summit League tournament, but it's going to be some fun basketball this next week.
Again, Logan Campbell here with us, WDAY. Have any other romance show questions or anything for?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Are you going to watch that Farmers one? Did you see the Farmer
Bachelor? Yeah, we should start watching that. We should do like a little bracket.
We should not.
How does that even work? Is it like a Bachelor kind of thing, or is it just like couples?
No idea. I don't actually want to find out.
I was going to sign you up for it, actually, Andy.
I'm not a farmer.
But you can I guess it's the guys or the farmers, right?
Yeah. That's how it works, unfortunately.
Well, maybe they can. Maybe next season they'll switch it up and the girls will be the farmers. Then we can sign you up.
Yeah, I come from the big city.
We need to ask Logan about. She's wearing her Commanders, or I guess I don't know what they wear at that point. But
they were the football team at this point.
Football. I still like that name, by the way.
I do too.
I just like calling them. Yeah, the football team's playing today. It's like, well, which one? Well, it's the football team. Figure it out. Eric Bieniemy probably getting hired there. Your initial thoughts on the new offensive coordinator?
Great hire.
And I also think we got to talk about it's interesting. He's leaving Kansas City. Everyone thought it'd be as a head coach, and now he's not.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, when I was looking at social media today, people were like, "What is wrong with him that he would consider going to Washington?" But here's the thing, he does want to be a head coach, but with Washington, it's kind of the next best thing because you're the offensive coordinator, but you get full control of the offense. You get to call the plays. Wasn't able to do that in Kansas City. So he'll be able to do that in Washington. So I think that's a great stepping stone for him. It's great for our offense. We need someone that knows what they're doing, obviously, down in Washington. So if it does happen, which it seems like it might by the end of the day, that will be huge for Washington.
And it does make sense. It's the next step for Eric.
Yeah, I agree. It must have been one of those things. If in his mind, if he's like, I want to be a head coach, and it's not happening, I'm I'm coaching for the best team, the best
Right.
offense in the league, and I'm still not getting, head coach looks. And maybe that's the reason why, because maybe everyone's like, say, oh, well, the only reason you're having success is because you're linked to Andy Reid. Andy Reid's calling the plays. In my opinion, that shouldn't be the only deciding factor in hiring head coaches. And maybe I'm completely off there. If I were a general manager, a CEO, whatever of an NFL team, I wouldn't just go hire the best coordinator. Are you a leader? Can you create a culture? Can you develop people? Can you do all these other things? You can find people that are really good in X's and O's as coordinators. The head coach has to be a leader first and foremost, and you have to create that culture. And so, to me, that's not the only thing that you need. But it seems like in the NFL, oh, you were a good coordinator? Okay, come on over, be my head coach.
It has also been if you talk to Sean McVay in the last couple of years. That usually also works to get a coordinator position.
Absolutely.
Well, Logan, we appreciate you coming in because you made him more energetic. He was all worried about Tiger. I think he's
still am.
watching
I think I missed his birdie putt.
I think you've given Kyle Emanuel some more energy and pep. So I appreciate
working
you coming
with Kyle. I know how to bring that out of him.
There you go. Thanks for stopping in. We'll get you in sometime when he's not here too.
Okay, sounds good. Thanks for having me.
There you go. Logan Campbell, WDAY, nice enough to stop in with us. We'll take a break. We'll come back. Head baseball coach for NDSU, Tyler Oakes, joins us on the other side as they get ready for game number 1 of the season today.
Hear the herd here. Bison's 1660.
It's a new year and a great time to remind you that you should have 2 routine dental visits a year. The best way to stop dental issues is to detect them early or stop them from happening in the first place. It's Amanda, and I smile with confidence because of the team at About Smiles Dental. They've been caring for my family's smiles for years. At About Smiles Dental, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. Plan ahead and call now to book your appointments. We love the team at About Smiles Dental, and you will too.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
In 1953, Bill Samuels created a simple bourbon, while Margie Samuels worked on her creative vision. A bottle hand-dipped in red wax, wrapped in a hand-cut label, filled with handcrafted bourbon that elevated flavor and remains unchanged as of today. Aromas of woody oak, caramel, and vanilla, with a taste that is sweet and balanced with caramel, vanilla, and fruity essences. Every barrel of Maker's Mark is aged to taste, not time. Maker's Mark, the star of your home bar. Please drink responsibly.
Other value menus have burritos, maybe even nachos. But only Taco John's Valuist menu has the cheese-loving audacity to put nachos inside a burrito. With crunchy tortilla chips, creamy nacho cheese, and zesty sauces, our new Nacho Crunch burritos pack 2 melty faves into one. Try them with seasoned beef for just $2, or grilled chicken for $3. This might be our cheesiest menu ever. The Valuist menu, only at Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. Download our app, earn free food.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Patchy blowing snow for your Friday with a high near 31. Wind chill values as low as 19 below. Overnight, mostly cloudy with a low near 13. West wind 6 to 14 miles per hour.
This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
Jeff at a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry. We guarantee you the biggest, whitest, brightest diamond, no matter what your budget. It's never meant more than it does today, because with the lab-grown diamonds at a Cutting Edge, we have partnered up with one of the largest growers in the world. We have all shapes in stock. So if you come to a Cutting Edge, you get to go through about 2,600 mountings to find the perfect mounting for her, and we'll match it up with the best stone that your budget can afford. Come to a Cutting Edge Gallery of Jewelry.
If you need any professional advice, they may not be your guys.
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
But if you need information on NDSU, then they got you covered. It's the Insiders on Bison 1660.
Welcome back to the Insiders. You can watch our show live on our Facebook page, Bison 1660 on Facebook, via the Horse Cam Horsch Farming with Passion online at horsch.com, HORSCH.com. Andy Rickoff, Kyle Emanuel, and Micah Bindi in with you. We'll go through some basketball stuff in hour number 2. Still have more tickets, by the way, for NDSU women's basketball versus Oral Roberts to give away later on in the show. There's a really cool prize that's being given away at the women's game on Saturday that Kyle Emanuel would be a big fan of, by the way.
I saw that. But don't you have to be able to throw out a paper airplane?
Yes.
I can't.
You can win a free round at Oxbow Country Club.
I mean, I can, but I don't, I'm not confident in my
All
ability.
it has to do with your ability to fold paper airplanes, like make one.
Oh, I have to make it too?
You have to make it.
Does it have to
engineering?
Does it have to look like a plane? Because you can make the whole thing where you fold a piece of paper multiple times, make it into a cylinder, and you throw it like a football, and it spins around, and it goes a lot farther, and it's easier to aim.
Any requirements on what the paper airplane is supposed to look like?
All right, Kyle, I'm going to teach you how to fold this thing, and then you can go there and you throw it like a football, and then
you have to make it
crumple up into a ball and just throw it.
You have to
if
make
you'd
it
like
inside the arena, or can you come?
I think it's whoever is closest. They're going to put something on the court. Whoever's closest to them.
No, but can I make it at home, aka have someone else make it for me?
I think they're going to give you something when you get in the doors.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably be how that one's going to
Better
go.
YouTube.
But also, if you just made one, I don't know if they're going to be able to tell the difference. Who knows? But
it could be special paper.
Yeah.
It'd be like NDSU paper. I don't have that,
Yeah.
So
could just get a paper airplane making kit or something too. Yeah. There you go. If you really wanted to try and get a loophole in the system to win that free round at Oxbow Country Club. Let's jump over to the Epic Companies hotline, though. A shift away from the basketball conversation, talk a little NDSU baseball, because they open up the season today. Pop the Cracker Jacks and the popcorn and the hot dogs. Get ready. It's baseball season, folks. And NDSU gets going today against Sacramento State. The head coach of the Herd on the diamond, Tyler Oakes, nice enough to join us on the Epic Companies hotline. Coach, great to have you on again. Appreciate you coming on the show with us. Congratulations. You've gotten to the start of the season today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. And it's pretty crazy to think that, we're opening up here, especially back home with there being a couple feet of snow still on the ground. But travel was good yesterday, so we're here and ready to go.
Yeah, definitely a little bit warmer temps out in Sacramento, California for you. The first couple of games here against Sacramento State. Give us a preview. What's the opponent like for you guys in these first couple?
They're a traditionally, kind of high-powered offense type team. I think they've won 30 games the last 11, 12 years, so they've done a good job of winning and playing high-quality opponents. They hit a lot of home runs last year. They have a good mix of kind of returning guys and incoming guys on their team. So I think they have 5 or 6 guys back in the lineup. And then their pitching staff is a little bit turned over, but have some guys that pitch in their bullpen that will be in their starting rotation now. So we have kind of some limited information on them with there being quite a few new guys, but I think fairly similar in terms of the way we play the game, kind of the blue-collar approach with both teams too, so it should be a good matchup.
Coach, I'm sure you get tired of answering this question because you have to start your year this way every single year because of the weather, because of all the snow that we can see outside of our window. But just give us a little insight into what it's like starting your season off with so many road games and some of the challenges that presents.
Yeah, it's definitely unique, but it comes with the territory, right, with where we're at geographically. And it's something that I think our guys do a really good job of knowing what they're getting into when they commit or come and play it at NDSU for baseball, and it's part of the process. And we talked to the team last night when we got to the hotel of kind of the road is where we thrive. The charter bus, all that stuff is kind of our secondary home, especially the first couple months of the season. And so for us, it's just an opportunity to go out and kind of showcase what we're all about as a team. That we have talented guys that can play with kind of anyone in the country. And the most unique part being is we won't step on a field until batting practice day, and all of a sudden a couple hours later we're playing in an actual game that's counting. So that's kind of the unique part of where we're at geographically. And then it's just the timing of the season, unlike any other sport. I compare it to basketball practicing in a hallway on 8-foot hoops, and then all of a sudden going out and playing in an actual game. So it's unique, but our guys have got a lot of work in within the IPF and that facility that's been great for us. And so I feel like we're still in a really good place, and now it's kind of time to turn it up and see what happens too.
By the way, NDSU picked who finished second in the preseason poll, just behind Oral Roberts. Did get one of the 7 first place votes as well. Obviously, defending regular season champions from a season ago. Will be hosting the Summit League tournament this year at Newman Outdoor Field. For you guys as well, some players being recognized in the preseason voting as Summit League players to watch. Peter Brookshaw and Cade Feeney, both on that list for NDSU. Let's go through those guys one at a time. First off with Peter, obviously a guy that's going to hold down that infield for you. He's going to be a guy at the top of this order for you, too. How have you seen his game continue to grow, and how much will you rely on his ability at the plate and in the field?
Yeah, he's been a staple for us ever since his freshman year, really. He started out freshman year at second base, and then Ben Hostler, moved on to pro ball and graduated, and he took over at shortstop. So Pete's a guy that has a ton of experience. He's had a lot of at-bats throughout his career. He's the guy that's at the top of every scouting report for an opponent that we're playing. And so there's no real secrets with Pete and what he can bring to our lineup and how vital he'll be to our success kind of this year going forward, too. And then I think the way he's grown is just, it's his last go-around where he's turned it up in the leadership category and been a little bit more vocal and really positive, especially with some of the new guys that we have, and making sure that everyone's ingrained to the expectations we have here. And so, we're looking for a really big year from Pete, and everything's right in front of him.
You mentioned something with Pete there I think is interesting. He's, at the top of the scouting report for other teams. We talk about that a lot with maybe some other sports like basketball. Grant Nelson's top of the scouting report. Teams do everything they can to take Grant Nelson away or to try and limit him. I think it's a little bit more difficult in baseball to take somebody away. Obviously, you can intentionally walk someone and just not let them have an impact at the plate. How do you see that in the game of baseball, even for your perspective on other teams, players you don't want to hurt you? How do you go about trying to limit star players, and how have you seen teams try and limit Peter Brookshaw?
Yeah, I think there's different ways to go about it and different philosophies out there. I think the biggest thing from the hitting side is you probably get pitched differently. You might not see as many fastballs, for example, and more breaking balls and changeups. Situationally, too, say there's runners in scoring position. A guy like Pete's up to bat. Likely they're going to pitch around him, knowing that first base might be open and make the next guy beat him. And so that's kind of some thought that goes into lineup too of who can protect a guy like that too, and hit behind him. That if they do pitch around him and he doesn't get something that he can handle, that he can make the other team pay for too. So, and then it's just there's so much video out there now of past years, and like Pete has 4 years of information on him, so there's no secrets of what his strengths are, what some of his weaknesses are, and so it's just kind of up to each team to kind of dive into some of that video and nitpick it, and then also see if your pitcher that day can execute what you're trying to do to him as well.
And then Cade Feeney, the other player on the watch list for the Summit League here in the preseason, obviously a pitcher that came in, and I think it's hard for players right away to have an impact the way Cade did in his true freshman year, followed it up with a great year last year, and obviously he's going to be headlining that rotation for you. What are the steps you traditionally see with pitchers once you get into that third year and you've been in college baseball now for a little while, like Cade is?
Yeah, and Cade's just a winner, and I think that sets the whole tone for him. Every time he goes out, we're going to get a competitor that fills it up and throws it over the plate and will always give us a chance. And I think going into his third year now, he's obviously had a ton of experience with being a starter the last couple years. And I think the game has never been fast for Cade, but now this year it's going to really slow down for him even more, kind of knowing what to expect, finding a routine that works for him. We've developed a third pitch. His changeup has been really, really good so far in the fall, and then throughout our winter workouts that he probably hasn't shown or hasn't used much in the past. So I think that's another element to his repertoire that we can add in that teams early in the season might not expect from him. And so just from a growth and maturity standpoint that way, I think he's in a really good spot. And the big part of it for me as a coach is he wants to be the guy out there. And anytime you have that mindset in a guy, you're going to get the most out of your team, and guys believe in him as well.
Coach, I want to ask you about something that's obviously come up in sports, in every sport, really across the board, in analytics and how much people use it going forward for strategy and different things like that. I think back to the movie Moneyball and how they were focused on guys that could get on base. Do you guys use analytics a lot? Do you have a strategy similar to like that? Or I know the MLB has even kind of gone to, we just want guys that can hit home runs.
Yeah, and it's different across the board too. We're probably a little bit more. I'd say our coaching staff's more old school with some new school mixed in versus completely new age, all in on analytics. We do use some of it more so in maybe some of our scouting reports and where to position people and make sure we're getting our guys in the right spots. And then offensively, we'll use on base percentage and some of those things as some things that we're looking for, but nothing crazy. And we're just trying to be as dynamic as possible. I think, like you mentioned, we're in a day and age now, especially at the big league level. You're even seeing it kind of filter into college, where teams are just trying to hit home runs and striking out a ton. Where we want to be a little bit more balanced and dynamic. We for sure want to hit the ball over the fence and hit home runs and doubles, but we also want to be able to beat teams in different ways by stealing bases or getting sacrifice bunt down when we need to, extending innings with 2 outs. So those are the kind of key things that we look for, but we'll use some more of the analytical pieces maybe in our practices for our pitchers and knowing some spin rates and what their pitches are doing shape-wise. And then, like I said, just more old school and keeping it simple, because I think that stuff can get really complex and overwhelming for guys. And the last thing that we want for our guys, too, is to be thinking about the analytical piece, and then they forget about competing.
And head coach of NDSU baseball, Tyler Oaks, here with us. Going to try and have the coach on every week as this season gets going today against Sacramento State. A few new additions to the roster this year for you guys. Jack Stile, one of them coming over from Nebraska, a little infielder. A couple other players from the portal as well that are added to this year's team. Stephen Lund, another one we've talked about in the past, coming over from Gonzaga. These first couple of games, this whole non-conference portion of the season, how much do you use it to figure out where some of the new players fit in and maybe throw some different lineups out there to see what works best come tournament time and really come conference time?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing for our coaching staff is the first 3, 4, 5 weeks of the season. We're trying to put people in different situations or different spots in the lineup. What is our best lineup? What's our best defensive lineup? What pitchers can handle certain roles and situations, and then also, finding ways to win as many games as possible. So it's that give and take with everything going on. But the 2 guys you mentioned too, Jack Stile and Stephen Lund, will be huge impacts for our team. And Jack will be at third today, and Steve will probably DH and then catch a little bit too as the series goes on. Split some time with Bush behind the plate. And so it's really about just trying to get as much information about your team each and every day, and knowing that, especially with our league and the Summit League being a one-bid league, we're just trying to play our best baseball going into the conference season and taking every experience and learning from it.
We do have a question from a listener on our Facebook page via the Horst Cam listening in. Wanted to ask Coach a question from Darla Jean. Says, do you know when or if the MLB rule changes will apply to the NCAA? I can tell you right now, the ones for Major League Baseball don't apply right now, but do you think any of those rules changes we've seen in Major League Baseball could make a trickle down to college? And are there any that you'd kind of like to see brought to the college game?
Yeah, one that probably got transferred from the NCAA to the MLB is probably the 20-second clock. I think some of the minor league teams flirted around with it, but I think college baseball is the one that implemented the 20-second rule that is now going to be enforced in the big leagues this year. So that should be interesting to watch. And then I don't know, you never know with the NCAA, right, with what they're going to do. But like the MLB has banned the shift and then, made some of the bases bigger and some of those. I don't see those coming in the near future for college baseball. But you never know, right? If the game keeps transforming and changing, you got to keep adapting to it. I think there's also a part of the NCAA that wants to probably stay away or different from, minor league or Major League Baseball, professional baseball in that manner too, of kind of having a separate game, if you want to call it that, with some different rule changes as well. So we'll see, but some of them are probably coming down the road.
How much do you think that would have affected you going from not having a pitch clock to all of a sudden these major league? I'm sure we're going to get a lot of complaints early on of, I don't like it, this isn't what I want to do, because pitchers are used to their routines, as you know. But adding that pitch clock to Major League Baseball and what that's going to do for that game.
It's crazy. I mean, even it's been an adjustment for us too, because this year they changed the rule. It used to be you just had to come set and the clock stop. Now you have to actually start your delivery to make the pitch before the 20 seconds. So we were very, wary about it, or involved with it in our winter practices to make sure that when a guy's on second, you're going through multiple signs and looks and holds of runners, that we're still kind of in compliance with everything going on, because there's no more warning anymore if you violated at the ball to the count. And so it's going to be different at the MLB level. In the college level too, the hitter has to be in the box ready to hit by 10 seconds. So that's another thing at the MLB level. I'm not sure if that's the case, but
it's 8 seconds in Major League Baseball.
Yeah. So, the routines that pitchers and hitters get into, I feel like it's going to be an interesting spring training to see how much they actually implement it, to see if it kind of holds or it's something that they go with for a year and get rid of.
It will be very interesting to see how it changes that game at the Major League level, and it's already made the impact here at the college level. Who we got on the mound? Who's starting game number 1 for you?
Cade Feeney will be the starter today, and then Max Logan will go tomorrow. Tristan Roach will go the first game on Sunday, and then freshman Parker Pitts will go the second game on Sunday.
There you go. That's the lineup. Looking forward to it. Looking forward to a really fun year. Congratulations on getting to the start of the season. We'll catch up with you as the season gets going, but thanks for the time today, Coach.
Awesome. Appreciate it, guys.
Of course. Tyler Oakes, they're nice enough to stop by and give us a preview of the NDSU baseball season, defending regular season champs in the Summit League. Pretty exciting stuff right there. Major League Baseball, though, a lot of new rules, a lot of changes coming to the game.
Yeah, it's interesting, and I know you guys were talking about I think that was earlier this week, and I'm trying to sit there and think, I guess I understand the shift rule, right? Like they want more hits, and I understand that, but like to me, that's like, I don't know. I don't know if I'm for it. I want more hits. Sure, everyone wants more hits, but like to me, that's like saying in football, like, oh, you have to play 2 safeties deep. Have to. Can't move the safety around. Like you're changing a defense's formation. You should be able to play wherever you want. If you want to have 9 outfield or 8 outfield, whatever, like go ahead and do it. It's just.
My thought was hitters get better at hitting the ball the other way, opposite of the shift.
Take advantage of the shift. It's a huge advantage if you can push the ball the other way and just slap one out there, and you're going to have a single every time. And I know that's easier said than done. Hitting a baseball is extremely hard. I played it my whole life up until college, but I don't know. The shot clock essentially for pitchers, I guess I'm okay with that. I don't think there's an issue there. But I understand like they're struggling a little bit, especially with the younger crowd who's attention deficit disorder with their phones and just everything they want now really quickly, and baseball's not like that. It just isn't. So I guess we'll see. We'll see what the effect is.
We had Eno Saris on from The Athletic earlier in the week, and he made a really good point. He thinks the changes are going to give you more baseball and less non-baseball. Less walking around the mound, less batter out of the batter's box, got to adjust the gloves, spit on the gloves, all this. Like, it's going to give you more baseball, less of the non-baseball. And I'm for it. We'll see what changes come and how it looks. There's definitely going to be a game where bases are loaded and pitcher doesn't get the pitch in, and that's a walk, and here comes a run. There's going to be those things.
There's going to be the controversy, which maybe, honestly, might be a good thing. You get people talking about baseball. Like they say, no publicity is bad publicity. I don't know if I completely agree with that, but in that case, if people are talking about it, hey, might be a good thing for baseball.
And a lot of times baseball hasn't been talked about much at all, so anything is going to be good for that sport and trying to grow the game. We'll take a break. We'll come back, wrap up hour number 1, and get you ready. Hour number 2 includes Brad Jones talking some NBA here on The Insiders.
Where the Bison roam. Bison 1660.
It's Chris Hansen, and for years we have trusted the experts at Rick Electric. Since 1964, Rick Electric has been the go-to for residential, commercial, and industrial. And right now is a great time to consider having a Generac whole home generator installed. If the power goes out, you'll barely notice because of an automatic seamless transition. For work in Fargo, Moorhead, Hawley, Horace, Glendon, Dilworth, Kindred, and everywhere in between, it's Rick Electric at rickelectric.com.
Shop the largest new vehicle inventory in the area, only at Corwin Auto. Corwin Auto has over 600 new vehicles available, and one of them can be yours. You heard me. Over 600 new cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers for you to choose from. With inventory like that, you don't have to settle. Find exactly what you are looking for. Have a trade? Get top dollar when you purchase any new in-stock or incoming unit. What are you waiting for? Head to any Corwin Auto location today or shop online, corwinauto.com.
Love is in the air.
It's a brand new day.
Birds are singing duets together.
And squirrels are chasing each other across the treetops.
Everyone has a twinkle in their eye.
Boom, chicka-boom.
Don't let junk get in the way.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
We've got magic in our fingertips.
And that's why everyone starts dancing.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
Hi, Chad here from Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, located in the heart of Lakes Country. We're the land of over 10,000 sleeps. We have helped our customers and their families rest easy for over 40 years, which is why year after year we've been voted the Lakes Country's best place to buy a mattress. At Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, you get the best value on name brand mattresses and the best service. We have a large assortment of mattresses, including memory foam and hybrids. It's worth the drive to Minnesota Warehouse Furniture and Mattress, located in Earhart, Minnesota. No frills, just big savings so you can rest easy.
Dakota Refrigeration, now known as DRI, has been serving Minnesota, the Dakotas, and Montana for over 4 decades. Locally owned and operated since 1974, DRI is a full-service source for your refrigeration, heating, ventilation, air conditioning, and electrical service needs. From the entryway to the kitchen, from hot to cold, from dreary to bright, DRI has you covered. DRI, formerly Dakota Refrigeration, with locations in Fargo, Bismarck, and Minot, online at dacref.com.
Holiday's your place to do the do. Yep, because for a limited time, you can mix and match any 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews and get a third for free. While the original is Dewlicious, there are so many other Mountain Dew flavors to try. And Holiday has a deal on all of them, like Dew Purple Thunder or the limited edition Pitch Black. So get into Holiday and do a new Dew. Buy any 2 20-ounce Mountain Dews and get a third for free. But hurry, it's only for a limited time and only at Holiday.
From the court to the field and everywhere in between. Your home for NDSU athletics. Bison 1660.
This first hour of the program brought to you by the great team at Rick Electric. Greg Rick, great person, great dude. Got a great team as well at Rick Electric for commercial or residential. They've got you covered for all your electrical needs. Call Rick Electric. Don't do it yourself. Dangerous to do by yourself unless you know what you're doing, which the pros at Rick Electric do. If you do it wrong, it's expensive to fix. And again, just trust the pros. They got them for you at Rick Electric, commercial or residential. Been serving this area for over 56 years, online at rickelectric.com. Another reminder for you, the game tomorrow for NDSU women's basketball is at noon, not at 1 o'clock. That has been moved up. Previously scheduled for 1. I think it has to do with some travel stuff for ORU wanting them to be able to get back, so they moved it up to noon tomorrow for Senior Day as well. Going to be honoring Rachel Novak, Taylor Brown, and Emily Banky before the game. So come on out there to honor those players who have played really well this year, but also this entire team and send them off the right way. And got a chance to do something never done before. Be the number 2 seed in the Summit League tournament and finish outright second, potentially. There could be a tie in there as well. Maybe it won't be outright if UND wins out and NDSU wins out, but get that second seed in the Summit League tournament would be pretty cool for this Bison women's basketball team. And, hey, you never know. I know SDSU's a heavy favorite. There's no doubt about that. They've been great all year. They're undefeated. It's March. You never know come tournament time. It's happened before. We thought SDSU would never lose in the tournament, right? Well, they lost to an 8-seed Omaha in the Pentagon a couple of years back in that COVID year. So you just never know what could happen. And get that 2 seed, you got as good of a chance as anybody to walk out of there with a victory. Also on Sunday, NDSU Wrestling back in action as well for their final game here at home, and it's a big one. Doesn't get any bigger than NDSU versus SDSU, the battle for the Border Bell, back on the mat as well at the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse, by the way, not at the Shack like most of them or all of them have been. This one will be at the BBF at 2 p.m. on Sunday. NDSU versus SDSU. Best of luck to Roger Kish and company in that one. Huge win against Oklahoma last week. That was phenomenal for them. not like a close one. It was kind of in a little bit of a landslide a bit. I think won it more comfortably than people expected, and see if they can keep those good vibes rolling against South Dakota State. For a complete schedule and to get tickets, you can go online to gobison.com.
We need this one. We can't let SDSU keep beating us in the sports. Right now, I don't want to lose to that team anymore.
Never. Doesn't matter what sport it is.
I'm sick of it.
Never want to.
Right? Like, again, props to them. Gotten good in football. Did their thing this last year. Got the championship. Props to them. Basketball, they've been good. Obviously, women's basketball, they've been dominant for a long time here. Softball, they've gotten good. Track and field, let's get them. Get them this time.
What's going on, man?
Come on. Let's go, Roger Kish and company.
Let's get them.
Let's go, wrestlers. Get them on the mat. Pin them down. Get some wins there. Win that border belt and get that thing back here to Fargo. Hour number 2 gets going here in just a little bit. Talk more Tiger Woods. Currently 2 under. 2 under.
Back to even on the day.
I think he's safe on the cut line right now, but a couple more birdies would be nice.
Ball is currently sitting on a dirt road.
That's fine.
160 yards out. So
he said he's great at saving par.
Updates coming up.
Yeah. Hour number 2, plus Brad Jones in the second hour of the program as well. Plenty left to cover, including your text, emails, and phone calls to hour number 2 of The Insiders coming your way next.
Something we hear often is, I didn't know physical therapy could help with that. I'm JT from Apex Physical Therapy and Wellness. With our patients, we take the time to work on muscles, joints, and exercises, all in one visit. Patients often tell us that their last therapy experience didn't do much for their pain, and that when they come to Apex, they feel great. We customize our treatments to meet our patients' needs. It's fulfilling to hear how much they've been helped by Apex. To let Apex help you out, schedule your free consultation today. Visit apexptwellness.com.
These days, we're all looking for ways to save some cash. Have you looked at your insurance? Talk to your Nodak Insurance Company agent, because the more you insure with Nodak Insurance, the lower your premiums. Work with one local agent to package your home, autos, or excess liability, everything you care about. Then watch the savings add up. Ask your Nodak Insurance agent how you can save with a multi-line discount. Nodak Insurance Company, agents with answers.
Don't let your profits get stuck in your truck this spring. Dirt, rock, let it slide with Super Slide. Super Slide is a plastic, non-stick, self-lubricating, and seamless liner that eliminates haulback in your dump box or dump trailer. Super Slide is available in various grades, widths, and thicknesses, and Horn Plastics can have you in and out in no time. Get your new liner now to ensure you maximize productivity and profitability in 2023. Super Slide from Horn Plastics, created and preferred for every job. Visit hornplastics.com to schedule your installation.
Other value menus have burritos, maybe even nachos. But only Taco John's Valuest menu has the cheese-loving audacity to put nachos inside a burrito. With crunchy tortilla chips, creamy nacho cheese, and zesty sauces, our new Nacho Crunch burritos pack 2 melty faves into one. Try them with seasoned beef for just $2, or grilled chicken for $3. This might be our cheesiest menu ever. The Valuest menu, only at Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. Download our app, earn free food.
Make a real resolution this year. Resolve to go far, as in Fargo Marathon Far. The 2023 Essential Health Fargo Marathon will be here in May, but your someday starts today when you make the commitment to yourself. Whether you're running, walking, or riding, there's an event for everyone from age 3 to 103. 2023 is your year to invest in you. Resolve today by registering at FargoMarathon.com.
So I can buy the Chevy truck for $4,000 less than invoice?
Yes, you can at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo. Up to $2,000 customer cash or 2.9% financing for 60 months. Plus up to $2,000 loyalty cash on select new Chevy trucks. Shop the savings on all new Chevrolets today at Gateway Chevrolet. Save thousands with 2.9% financing for 60 months on select models. Only at Gateway Chevrolet in Fargo. Find new roads. Details gatewayfargo.com.
KQWB West Fargo, KPFX HD3 Kindred, and K224FD Fargo. Bison 1660, powered by Gateway Chevrolet, Cadillac, Nissan, and Hyundai in Fargo.
And here's what you need to know.
On Tiger Woods' watch, second round at the Genesis Invitational, he is 8 shots off the lead. Woods is 1 under for the tournament, +1 today through 5 holes, so he has dropped a shot today in his second round with still plenty of golf to be played. Keith Mitchell is your sole leader right now at 9 under, 2 under today through 8. And besides him, you've got Colin Morikawa and Max Homa, 2 shots back, both tied for second at 7 under. Meanwhile, in the NFL, according to NFL Network, a deal to make Chiefs offensive coordinator Eric Bieniemy the Commanders' new OC could be finalized as soon as today. And assuming that goes through, Kansas City would then have Matt Nagy fill Bieniemy's spot. Elsewhere, Chiefs tight end Travis Kelce will be hosting Saturday Night Live on March 4th. I'm Brian Fenley.
You've got the Insiders.
How you play today, from this moment on, is how you will be remembered.
That's what living is. The 6 inches in front of your face.
Bringing you what you need to know and a whole lot more. Topics you care about, guests you know, and the conversations you came to hear. The Insiders are presented by Proceed. Need seed? Think Proceed. Now, here are the Insiders.
The Insiders. The Insiders. The Insiders.
Insiders.
The Insiders.
Andy Rickoff and Bison great Kyle Emanuel.
Hour number 2 of the program rolling right along for you. Fun first hour. Really flew by. It happens when you got a couple of guests in an hour. Logan Campbell is great. Obviously, Tyler Oak's phenomenal. Bison baseball gets going today against Sacramento State. Do have one more guest for you a little bit later on. Brad Jones will be stopping by. Oh, Basketball Jones. We have the intro music ready for Brad. That's absolutely 100% in his contract, so we have it ready when he comes in here at 12:30 on the program. This hour of the Insiders, though, hour number 2 on a Friday, brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds, a local family-owned jeweler serving and believing in this community for over 100 years. Stop in and see them at their new showroom, 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo for Wimmer's Diamonds, bringing you this hour of the Insiders on a Friday. And Tiger Woods watch, he is currently on a cart path, some dirt path. He just hit one.
I'm a little confused. I feel like I know quite a few rules in golf. If you land on a cart path, you get relief. You just can't go any closer. He landed on a dirt cart path, kind of gravelly cart path, and I thought Justin Thomas did as well. Justin Thomas took relief, unless I missed it. We were doing the show. I might have missed it.
I'm watching it right now. He did take relief.
Tiger did not,
okay.
And I don't know if he just chose not to. You obviously don't have to. You can hit it off the cart path if you want to. Maybe one of our listeners knows. Email us in, text us in, something. Why didn't he take relief right there off? Because he just hit it off the dirt path and it didn't go well. And now he's short-sighted on the right side.
701-476-1660, the number to call or text us at. New news right now in the NFL. The Jets are hosting free agent quarterback Derek Carr for a visit. Carr's also gone and visited the New Orleans Saints. That was before the release, but he's visited there, has a relationship with their head coach Dennis Allen from his days at that time in Oakland, when Dennis Allen was the head coach there for the Raiders. But now Derek Carr going to visit the Jets. Micah, you did make this prediction. You already are puffing your chest out like it's happening. It's clearly not happening yet.
Oh, it's already happened.
I believe it's going.
We see it right there. It's
He's
right
going to
there.
visit like 3 or 4 teams.
He's on a visit and he sees, no competition here. There's a bunch of talent in New York, and I'm in New York. I'm going to go there.
Yeah,
it's a good team. Be a good team around him.
I mean,
dealing with the Bills.
You might want to say no competition, but you're also going to be probably more scrutinized in New York than you would in New Orleans.
Absolutely.
By far.
I make good money in New York.
New York, you have 2 bad games, and they're going to be like, bring back Zach Wilson.
I don't know. Zach Wilson's pretty bad.
I still think Carolina, man. A good team there. I like Frank Reich. I think it fits him a lot. I don't know if he's even going to go on a visit there. I just think that'd be a good spot for him.
I think we're missing a huge storyline, or we haven't talked about it in a while. Is Lamar Jackson going to be leaving the Ravens?
Point. No, they're going to franchise tag him.
Or should the Vikings trade for Lamar Jackson?
No.
But if they franchise tag him, is he just going to get hurt again?
Well, that's the reason why he hasn't been signed to a long-term deal. The last 2 seasons, he's missed the last 6 games of the regular season.
Is he going to get hurt? Quote. Hurt. I don't know, and I don't know. I'm not questioning his injury. I know he got injured. He did.
Like a bad knee injury.
But there was some questions out there, and again, I don't want to question anyone's toughness, and I'm not doing that with him. But it seemed like he was like, I'm a little injured. You're not going to give me the contract. I'm not coming back to play.
He has to look out for himself a little bit.
And so if he doesn't get that long-term deal, I could understand it. You're running quarterback. You have a better chance of getting injured, and he might not want to play under a franchise tag.
So I've always said about Lamar Jackson, even when he was drafted. I'm not saying he can't throw. He can. He's actually, I think, an underrated passer of the football.
Yeah.
But his A topic is running. He's a running. Like, that's why he is the threat.
That's why he was
is.
an MVP.
Yes, that is his a topic. That is what you think about when you think about Lamar Jackson. First off, that's not going to last forever. It doesn't with any running quarterback, and he can't take the hits that Josh Allen can take, that even Jalen Hurts can take. Hurts can squat like 500 pounds or something. We've seen him take a lot of hits, and he's going to be just fine. Like he's thicker. He's got a little bit more size to him and plenty of speed. He can run through tacklers. Josh Allen will run through tacklers. Lamar Jackson is not built that way. And we've seen it these last 2 years start to really take a cumulative effect on him when he's missed the last 5 or 6 games of the regular season. This year, missed a playoff game as well. I'm not signing up for $50 million a year for a guy that I can't rely on. I'm just not doing it.
Well, then the other thing in the big storyline has been, like, everyone hates the Browns because of what they did with Deshaun Watson.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the stuff off the field. I'm talking about they gave him this large contract, fully guaranteed. They completely screwed up the market because that's how the NFL works. It's a market, right? Like, okay, here's what the top guy got. I feel like I'm a top guy. I want that. Or very
Next
close
in line
to it.
gets more than him. Yep.
So that's what Lamar Jackson wants. He's like, if Deshaun Watson can get that, I want an MVP. He didn't. He hasn't played football in 2 years, whatever, you know. And so that's what he wants. And the Ravens are like, no, that's an outlier. The rest of the league's like, that's an outlier. That was an anomaly. Like, we don't pay quarterbacks that much yet. They'll get there. And that's what he wants. And so that's another thing that's kind of holding up this whole process, I think. Obviously, the Ravens are maybe concerned about injuries. Lamar Jackson's like, I want this huge deal that Deshaun Watson got. And now they're kind of at a crossroads.
And
but the Ravens are
Lamar is his own agent, too.
He is. I don't think he has an agent. And I think the Ravens want him back. They've said as much. Like, guarantee he's going to be our quarterback. But it might be a franchise tag.
I think they end up franchise taking him and going on a year-by-year basis. And maybe they even draft someone and say we might need somebody for the future. Who knows? Although they have Tyler Huntley, who was a Pro Bowler.
That's right.
Pro Bowl quarterback Tyler Huntley.
Touchdowns.
There have been murmurs that the Ravens and Lamar Jackson, rumors circulating that they're $100 million apart.
Oof.
That seems ridiculous. I don't know if it's that drastic, but they're obviously not on the same page for what Lamar thinks he's worth and what the Ravens are willing to pay.
If you want to talk rumors and conspiracy theories, guy right there, he's got him for you. He's got him for you, Mr. Micah Bindi. I think he stays a Raven, but might be on a franchise tag. And whoever, like, you think about Jalen Hurts could be in line for a big new deal. Any of these teams, they'd be smart to do it now. If you're the Eagles, do it right away because you know who you don't want to be after? Joe Burrow's going to be up for one.
Yep.
Justin Herbert's going to be up for one. You do not want to be after those ones. You want to be the first in line and say, okay, we'll get a little bit of a deal compared to these other guys. You want to be before, I would think, those guys who are going to get some massive deals.
And there's an argument to be made that, like, if you're the quarterback, like, why take these massive deals? Like, and I don't know all the intricacies of an NFL contract. You'd think I would, but I don't. If you want to have a good team around you, don't you want some flexibility in that contract? Yeah. A little bit more money for some other guys around you? Like, if you look at some of the top-paid quarterbacks in the league, a lot of them missed the playoffs. A lot of them had early exits. Aaron Rodgers
actually took a flexible deal.
He did.
Really.
Again, he did. And he said that right off the bat. He's like, yeah, this was a good deal for me, but it also allowed the team some flexibility to sign some other guys. Now, they probably didn't have the superstars that they've had in the past maybe this year, but they still won a Super Bowl. Yep. And there's an argument to be made there. Like, yeah, if you're Jalen Hurts, do you want 55 million, or do you want 40, 5, 50, whatever, and a better team around you, whatever the numbers work out to
bargain of 45 million a year.
But what's the argument? Because I would say Patrick Mahomes, his contract is the outlier, and also the Chiefs are outliers of winning the Super Bowl because 5 of their players made up almost 50% of their salary.
Well, they're
cap.
just different. Most teams, you see a lot of teams win. When do you see teams win Super Bowls? A lot of times.
Rookie quarterback
on a rookie deal where they can pay other parts of their team. Jalen Hurts is a prime example. I know the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl, but they were right there to win the Super Bowl. His cap hit, I just saw it, was like $4 million last year.
Yep. I still say I'm waiting for the team to do it. Draft a quarterback, have him for 4 years. No matter how good he is,
draft
another one. Unless he's Patrick Mahomes, then you just have to bite the bullet, and he's worth it, right? But Jalen Hurts could turn out to be an amazing quarterback for 20 years. I don't know. There's part of me that thinks, if I'm the Eagles, do I do the same thing I just did with Carson Wentz? Or I thought Carson was going to be the guy, but you drafted Jalen Hurts in the second round. They have the 10th overall pick. C.J. Stroud.
You just keep getting guys around.
Reset it, and you keep the amazing team right around you. There's a small part of me that wants to see some team just do it.
Keep drafting guys around a quarterback.
Try to be different.
Because we've seen that's been the formula. That's the most consistent formula, unless you have Patrick Mahomes, who is the ultimate answer.
Joe Burrow made it to Super Bowl.
Yes.
Rookie contract.
Yeah. And he might get there again, but we don't know yet.
Try to think who
Russell
else
Wilson was a rookie contract. He won one.
Tom Brady was very rarely the highest paid quarterback.
Yeah, he's taken a lot of pay cuts.
Right.
He's been the outlier at quarterback, basically.
And he's had some good teams around him because of it. So there is an argument to be made there.
Yeah, absolutely is. And we'll see what happens there with some other quarterbacks on that free agent market. Derek Carr is definitely one of them. Aaron Rodgers might get traded. He's currently on a darkness retreat somewhere. Don't really know when he's coming back, I guess, at this point. But we'll find out, I'm sure, much more on Aaron Rodgers in the next week or so. And that will be a daily topic on all the big national storylines and national shows. We'll take a break. We'll come back. He's already in the Brad Jones honorary green room, so we'll bring him on. Brad Jones talking some NBA when we come back here next on The Insiders. But as we go to break, let's give away some more NDSU women's basketball tickets. We've got more tickets for NDSU and Oral Roberts. We'll give away a family 4-pack of tickets this time. The NDSU and ORU, the final home game for the women's team, at least, of the season. Make sure you get out there to the Shack on Saturday at noon for this one. 4-pack of tickets to caller number 4 right now at 701-476-1660. More of The Insiders with Brad Jones when we come back.
You're listening to The Insiders on your home for NDSU Sports. Bison 1660.
I think what makes Proceed win is we're different than the other companies in many ways with our programming, our simplicity, our non-corporate attitudes, and our personal relationship building.
What Proceed is, we bring back the old-fashioned seed buying experience. We're true seedsmen. We care about everything from the sale to the planting to following up afterwards. That's what we're all about, is just trying to bring that experience back to a personal level.
Need seed? Think Proceed. Proceed.net. Great seed at a reasonable price.
It's a new year and a great time to remind you that you should have 2 routine dental visits a year. The best way to stop dental issues is to detect them early or stop them from happening in the first place. It's Amanda, and I smile with confidence because of the team at About Smiles Dental. They've been caring for my family's smiles for years. At About Smiles Dental, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. Plan ahead and call now to book your appointments. We love the team at About Smiles Dental, and you will too.
Are you an electrician? Are you looking for a change? JDP Electric is looking for commercial, industrial, and service electricians. JDP is looking for both journeyman and apprentice electricians. You could start your career today with a family-owned and operated business who's been serving our community for over 20 years. Full-time positions available with great pay and benefits. Call 701-232-1991 or email info@jdpelectric.net. Start your new tomorrow today. Come be a part of the JDP difference.
Doesn't it seem like there's a mattress store on every corner? I mean, there are more mattress stores than coffee shops. This makes it hard to shop. Beds by Design Mattress Factory has all your options at one location. We eliminate the middleman, which means you pay half the price. So instead of shopping for hours with cheesy salesmen and spending too much, BBD Mattress Factory can find the best mattress for you at the best price. We have mattresses starting at $99, and you can trade them in for life. Stop in. Beds by Design Mattress Factory.
Want a job you love? Join a winning team. Twin Peaks Fargo is hiring all heart of house support positions, cooks, bussers, barbacks, and more. Twin Peaks offers many great incentives like free shift meals, flexible schedules, and pay starting at $20 an hour. Apply today. Just text PEAKS to 85,000 to get started. Twin Peaks. Eats, drinks, scenic views.
Here's your Red River Valley weather update on Bison 1660.
Patchy blowing snow for your Friday with a high near 31. Wind chill values as low as 19 below. Overnight, mostly cloudy with a low near 13. West wind 6 to 14 miles per hour.
This weather update brought to you by Minn Kota Windows. Just when your kids thought it was time to head outside, a cold snap rolls in. Ditch the coat and snuggle up with peace of mind, knowing that Minn Kota's energy-efficient vinyl will block out the brutal cold and save you money. Midwest built, Midwest tough, guaranteed for life.
You're listening to your home for NDSU athletics.
To the 10, cut to get him. Try in there, baby.
Bison 1660.
12:19 the time on the program. Back with you inside our Tharaldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. You can fuel your future and join their growing team at Tharaldson Ethanol, online at tharaldsonethanol.com. Here's 175 million gallons of ethanol per year at their great facility just west of Castleton. Back in with you here on The Insiders, as always, also brought to you by Proceed, home of the Right Choice and Right Stuff programs, and online at proceed.net. If you need seed, think Proceed. We'll have some more tickets to give away for NDSU women's basketball. By the way, the prize you can win, we mentioned this, was a big Kyle Emanuel prize he'd be very happy to win at NDSU women's basketball on Saturday. Another reason to go if there weren't already enough reasons. You can win a free round of golf for 4 at Oxbow Country Club this Saturday at NDSU women's basketball. And all you got to do is fly a paper airplane onto center court on the logo during the game on Saturday. Just toss your plane from your seat at tomorrow's season finale at home during halftime. They'll have a specific time you can do that. Just got to have some good paper airplane folding skills and maybe some engineering skills, and you could be walking away with a free round of golf for 4 at Oxbow Country Club Saturday at NDSU women's basketball versus Oral Roberts. And a huge game for the standings. Bison need to win out here to secure that number 2 seed in the Summit League tournament. Maybe a little Summit League tournament talk, but also some NBA conversation with our next guest, who's now in studio with us right now. And that's a dead giveaway. Brad Jones, the White Shadow himself, has stepped back in to the Theraldson Ethanol Broadcast Center. First time since football season?
It's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Good to be back.
Great to have you.
Thank you.
Fun to have you in. We used to have you in with another show here all the time. Haven't had you in as much. You've complained about it.
Wait
so
a minute
I decided to have you in.
Wow,
That's the only reason you're here.
I got a real job, man. I got to work for a living.
Oh, I thought this was the only thing you
yeah,
did.
Right? I know, right? I've been sitting for months just waiting for the call. For the call.
And you finally had it. There we go. Having you in, talking some NBA.
Yeah.
And this is Kyle Emanuel's favorite sport to talk about. Big basketball.
I actually loved basketball. It was my favorite sport growing up. I just don't really like the NBA. Just not a huge fan.
You're just glued into Tiger Woods. That's what
that's true.
But talking some NBA, it is All-Star Weekend.
Yes.
Team LeBron, Team Giannis.
Yes.
Do you have a favorite of the two?
No.
Do you watch any All-Star festivities?
I do. I will watch all of the. I will. For entertainment purposes only, maybe have some stake in some of the All-Star festivities.
Are you actually going to watch the dunk contest?
Yes. I
With
will.
Mac McClung, Trey Murphy III, and Jericho Sims.
I was going to say, I saw those names, and I saw them scroll across, like, I don't know any of these people.
Well, you've been to the Shadow Dome before.
Correct.
This will be on the auxiliary TV.
Okay.
This will be on the small TV.
Off to the side.
Yes.
Gotcha.
It will not be. That will not be the main event.
Why don't people want to participate in the dunk
I
contest?
don't get it.
I don't
because it feels like there's this fear of losing, or this fear of not performing up to expectations as to why people aren't participating, or that it's just not cool anymore. And I don't know when we lost that. It feels like the last truly great one was Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, which is not that terribly long ago.
No.
And why the top players just decided, you know what, I'm just not going to do that anymore. Nobody remembers the losers of any dunk contest unless they also did something awesome. We remember Aaron Gordon for losing. Even back in the 80s, you had Dominique and MJ and Spud Webb that were going at it. It wasn't like, oh, this guy can't even win the dunk contest. Nobody thinks like that.
You just mentioned the names. You mean Dominique, MJ, Spud. It'd be like, can we get Giannis,
right?
Anthony Edwards, and Luka Doncic, or something? That would be the names.
It feels like the last person with a superstar profile to participate was Dwight Howard. As odd as that sounds, I think that's probably the last guy with that type of profile that did. I don't understand. It feels like it's a no-loss proposition, and people still don't show up for it. It makes no sense.
Has anybody ever really gotten hurt? That's used a lot as like the excuse. I don't remember anyone ever getting hurt from the dunk contest.
No, you hear more whining about that from people in the home run derby, that it wrecks your swing. There was that whole narrative was there for a handful of years in the probably about 10 years ago. But no, it's never happened in the dunk contest. Blake Griffin, I guess, would have been another superstar that participated right around that same time.
It is funny because I remember, like, growing up, like, you would do, like, you'd simulate dunk contests in your driveway. Like, that was the thing I loved.
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved the fact that Kobe Bryant was my favorite player. Like, he won it back in, like, 96 or so. Early on, he won it. And I was like, I thought that was awesome that he had that on his resume. And it was, like, growing up, like you said, it was just always the best of the best, it seemed like. Wanted to be in the dunk contest, and kids loved it. I loved it as a kid. I loved that contest. I would watch it all the time. Now,
or at least young superstars like Anthony Edwards would be great.
Yeah. Right. Anthony Edwards, who's the name that Shaden Sharp, I think, was a name that people thought should have been in it and would have been a pretty heavy favorite in it. Yeah, I don't understand what the downside is. I just feel like there isn't any. So it's something that the NBA should is it the biggest problem facing the NBA? Not really, but would it be fun if they tried to incentivize bigger names to participate, whatever that may be, whether it's a phone call even from the commissioner, like, hey, here's who we're going to have doing it. You guys really should do this.
Yeah, the three-point contest still has great names. Damian Lillard's
in it.
Some big-time shooters. But
I think, what did I read? Of the top 19 shooters in three-point percentage, I think there's only one of the top 19 that's participating. And I believe that is, Buddy Hield.
Okay,
Buddy Hield is the top percentage guy that's participating. But yeah, Dame Lillard, Steph usually participates. Yeah, obviously he's injured. Clay's participated a bunch of times. Steph hasn't won it every time. He's won it once or twice. Clay hasn't diminished that. I mean, you should be getting all of the best shooters out there.
Brad, have you concocted your own solution to fix the dunk contest in the NBA? Like, should they move the All-Star game to what the NFL does by moving it after the season?
No, because after the season, everybody's gone. Yeah. And especially as staggered as it is in the NBA. I mean, in the NFL, you maybe with the Pro Bowl have a month or so, but you might have 2 months between the season ending for some of these players and when you would actually hold that. No, I don't necessarily love that. I don't know that you're going to get people in peak physical condition to be able to even participate in the dunk contest. And I still enjoy the actual All-Star game itself.
Let's go to some of the teams on the court,
Sure.
not the All-Star stuff. I'm not going to watch a ton of it either. I think NBA is one of the better All-Star games. It's actually somewhat entertaining compared to like the flag football thing for the NFL and stuff. But I probably won't watch a ton of it either. What I will continue to watch is Nikola Jokic because he is just a ton of fun to watch. Is he going to be a third-time MVP, a ton of triple-doubles? It seems like typically the voters get tired of the narrative, right? This guy's won it before, we vote for somebody else, but he's won it twice in a row, and right now the betting favorite.
He's Thanos. He's almost inevitable at this point because, I mean, Giannis or Embiid, I think, is leading the league in scoring. Giannis is right up there. The Bucks have won 14 straight right now, but he's averaging a triple-double that includes assists as a center and as a legit, I can go back to the basket, I can pop out. He can do everything. He is so much fun to watch. If you like movement, if you like passing, he is so much fun to watch, and he deserves it. They're the number one team in the Western Conference right now, have been basically all season. I don't know what more you want. He's shown, and his MVP seasons have been different. They were the rising team 2 years ago with him and Jamal Murray showing the signs of having something special in Denver. Last year, he carried that team to the middle of the playoff seeding with Jamal Murray hurt, Michael Porter hurt. He carried a group of scrubs to being a reasonably competitive team. And now he's the best player on one of the three best teams in the NBA, and he's averaging a triple-double. It's been different the way that he's done it and the stories that are around it, but right now, he absolutely should be the three-time MVP.
Brad, we got to talk about all the trades that went down just a week ago. Kevin Durant's going to the Suns. Kyrie goes to the Mavericks. The Brooklyn, whatever you want to call it, experiment obviously didn't work out. Explosion, maybe. Your thoughts on everything that went down there?
I mean, it shouldn't have been and I understand why Brooklyn did it in the moment. And Kyrie was kind of the tax to be able to get Kevin Durant 4 years ago, much in the same way that Paul George and trading every asset for the Clippers was the tax to being able to get Kawhi Leonard to come to your franchise. Anybody willing to sign up long-term for the Kyrie Irving business at this point is insane. And it boggles my mind when teams that you believe to be smart and owners like Mark Cuban that you believe to be smart and have shown to be smart basketball people throughout the years would make that kind of move and trade real assets and real positive players for Kyrie Irving, and then are going to, you have to offer him, even though he's given no promise, you have to offer him a long-term deal at the end of this. Otherwise, it looks like you're really making a mistake by taking a half-season swing at Kyrie Irving when it doesn't really move the needle a ton on you as a title contender. Brooklyn probably did the right thing and probably did about as good a job as they could given the circumstances, given the mistakes that they had previously made. They recouped as many assets as they were probably going to do. I think they've got like 10 wing players right now, but Mikal Bridges is legitimately good. Like, he is going to be
just scored 42.
He's legitimately good. And they were offered, I think Brooklyn was offered 3 or 4 first-round picks for him after they completed the KD trade. They were offered another haul of picks for someone trying to acquire Mikal Bridges, and that was reported, I believe, by Zach Lowe of ESPN. So they've got the makings of being able to do something, but they took their swing, and they took their swing with, of their 4 air quote superstar players that they had, Kyrie, Simmons, Durant, and Harden, only one of them was reliable, and that's what happens. The odds were going to be that they were going to blow up, and it did. Great on the Suns. They made the deal that they needed to make, and they are a title contender and one of the 3 teams in the inner circle, 4 teams in the inner circle this year. And when you've got Chris Paul at age 37, that's what you have to do. Again, I don't understand what Dallas is doing.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't signed up long-term with Kyrie, but I agree with you. They gave up some good assets.
Right, but then you just gave up something for a half a season when you're what? This makes you the 3rd or 4th best team in the West? Congratulations. You don't make that kind of trade, as we've seen with the Timberwolves, to be mediocre.
Yeah. At the time, the West wasn't quite as loaded, but then right after that, Kevin Durant comes over, and you're like,
fair. That's fair.
Now we've got a different problem on our hands, even with Kyrie and Luka there. Let's go to the Suns. Kevin Durant goes there. Obviously, the Suns are one of the best teams in the West when they're playing really well. But you do have 37-year-old Chris Paul. You bring in Durant. Durant's now 34. He's had some big-time injuries in recent history. Injured again basically right now as they traded for him. He's still a great player. Is Kevin Durant still the guy we think of when he won titles with the Warriors, or is he a different player right now?
By some of the metrics, he's actually having one of his best seasons. He's averaging, I think, the most points since his MVP season in 2013-2014. His defensive numbers, steals and blocks, are still right there. His shooting numbers are, I think he's shooting the 2nd best percentage of his career this year. He's leading the league in free throw percentage. I mean, he is every bit the Kevin Durant that we have seen when he's on the court, which seems like you can say that for 70% of the NBA right now is when they're on the court. Yeah. But this is absolutely the type of swing that you take when you are Phoenix, because they were not they were struggling. Obviously, both Booker and Chris Paul have been hurt this year. But when healthy, when you have Booker, Paul, Durant, Ayton, and anything else that they've got, you are a title contender. And when you have a team with Chris Paul that is aging a little bit, you take this swing. And then if you feel the need to reset and move around, Devin Booker's timeline, you still have Kevin Durant, and you could trade him again. All the assets that they got out the door in a year or two, if this doesn't work, you can probably recoup most of those by trading him again.
They your favorite in the West now? Or still Denver?
If I had to pick a team out of the West, I think I'd still pick Golden State.
Okay.
Ooh. I think they're sitting at 8th or 9th
just
right
lurking
now.
right now, yeah.
The Curry injury obviously is the one guy they can't afford to lose.
Traded James Wiseman too.
Yes, they needed to,
yeah,
because he
wasn't working.
It wasn't working, and anything you could get for him, you kind of had to at that point, because it just wasn't going to. I need to see it. I need to see Denver stay healthy, specifically Porter Jr. I think he is a big part of what would make them a title contender. I don't trust him to stay healthy. I don't trust Phoenix to stay healthy. I just feel like Golden State's going to turn it on, and when it's kind of a mess, I've seen what Golden State looks like at their best, and I still take that over other teams. I'd probably put Phoenix and Denver right there. So I know that's not popular, and you look at the standings, and they're in the play-in right now, but yep. I'd still take Golden State.
What about the Timberwolves? We got to talk about the Timberwolves, right? Like, as someone who doesn't pay attention to them at all, I just looked at them. I think they're in the play-in spot right now.
Right.
No more D'Angelo Russell.
Thank goodness.
Yeah.
What about Karl Anthony Towns, though? I know that's always a popular topic of discussion. What do they do with him? He's still there, right?
First he's hurt. I mean, getting back on the court would be.
He's been gone for about
nice.
4 or 5 months now.
That's right. Yeah, true.
Yeah. He's never going to be the number one, and his performance in some of the biggest games when they have made the playoffs has been James Harden-esque in those type of games, and that's not a compliment. He is a player that you almost certainly kind of have to ride things out with because he has been so good. What you need to hope is that the team takes on, well, you need to hope that Anthony Edwards matures quickly because he's got the talent. I just haven't necessarily seen that, okay, I know when to take things over. You have that feel for the big moments, and you're hoping that Edwards takes that cue and learns that on his own and doesn't learn the same attitude that Towns has. But I think you need to keep Towns.
The other thing is you need Towns in those big moments to be willing to let Anthony Edwards take the game over.
Well, I don't think that's a problem. I don't think that's a problem. No, not at all. When have you ever seen in a big game Towns get on the block and demand the ball? That's one of the things I've been shouting at my TV in playoff games is D'Angelo Russell is holding on to the ball. You're letting somebody else hold on to the ball, and Towns is getting 9-10 shots. He's one of the maybe the most versatile scoring big man ever. When you look at his percentages, it's him and Dirk, and maybe throw Jokic in there.
I don't see him on the block. I see him on like the elbow trying to back somebody in from basically the 3-point line.
But he's not getting the ball. He's taking 10, 11 shots in some of those big games, and he's not demanding the ball. So no, I don't see that as a problem. I think he is. I think Towns, from the way that he plays, is a natural number 2 and a really, really good number 2. He's been all NBA. That means you're one of the top 15 players in the league. That's really, really good. But he's not a number 1 guy. But when you have Anthony Edwards, if you think he is that guy, you don't need Towns to be. So I think you kind of ride it out, and you got to see how he fits with Gobert, which I don't think is great. And I guess if the cost of the Gobert mistake is that you have to get rid of Karl Anthony Towns, that's a pretty bitter pill to swallow.
I would agree with you there. And we all know they gave up way too much for Gobert. It was a bad trade, but it is what it is at this point. You've made it, and it hasn't worked out this year, and I don't think it's going to work out in the future either. With Mike Conley there now, you feel like they have a little bit more chemistry. You've seen some better games here from Gobert. What did you think overall of that trade to get Conley? You ship out Russell, which I know you hated him anyways.
I did. I strongly disliked D'Angelo Russell. That trade was horrible the moment that they made it. The only saving grace with the D'Angelo Russell trade, as things come full circle, is you basically got D'Angelo Russell because you wanted to get rid of Andrew Wiggins, and that was the best deal that you could make at that time. Well, now you're doing the same thing, except you're progressively getting worse players. And Mike Conley, it's not that he's just old, and he's not going to be the same player that he was, but he's going to be an adult in the room. And he knows how to play, obviously, like you said, with Gobert having played with him in Utah. And he's going to be able to, I think, organize and get some veteran leadership in there that Gobert was not the type of player to provide that I think Conley can. That was the best that they could do in the moment because they didn't want Russell back, and you couldn't just let him walk because with the amount of money that you're already spending, it's not like you were going to all of a sudden have gobs of cap room. You were able to go over the cap to re-sign D'Angelo Russell because he had his bird rights. So it wasn't, okay, let's get rid of Russell and sign another $35 million player, in that place. You were going to have to sign another $15 million player to try to replace him, which wasn't going to work. So this was about as good as they were going to do.
There's a lot of other financial reasons that went into that trade, which why to me it made a lot of sense of what they did. You just basically pushed it down the line a little bit with Mike Conley instead, who is an adult in the room. And I think when Cat gets back, he's someone that makes sure everybody gets their touches.
Right. And he's under contract for next year as well. I think $25 million, I think, is what he's signed for. So I think it's as good as they could have done in the moment as they're trying to make up for a couple of bad trades they've made before.
I know in the past you've been on and then off the Celtics bandwagon. I would assume you're on it right now. Best record in the NBA.
Yeah, I was early on the Celtics, kind of backed off, and then I've been wrong on both times. Yes. I was wrong when I was too early on. I got off the bandwagon. Whoops, that was a mistake. I'm Milwaukee. I'm Team Milwaukee out of my preseason pick was Milwaukee Golden State. In the finals with Milwaukee winning.
And Milwaukee's only a half game back.
I was going to say they're right there. I think they're the same in the loss column. So I mean they're basically even.
Won 12 straight too as Milwaukee.
12. Okay, I had 14. It was 14 was the number of losses in a row that the Spurs have had. 12 straight wins for Milwaukee. I just think Milwaukee. Giannis is just so insanely good and such a force of nature. The 1-2 combination of Tatum and Jaylen Brown has been exceptional for Boston. And They've been playing well. They should be playing well. They made the finals last year and won 2 games. Like, they're a really, really good team. I think if we get what we should, a Milwaukee-Boston Eastern Conference Finals would be one of the most physical and one of the best series that we could possibly hope to have in the playoffs. I trust Giannis a little bit more. I think he's just more of a problem. But Boston's fantastic. There's 5 or 6 teams that have a legitimate chance to win the title this year, and those are 2 of them.
Especially if Chris Middleton gets back from Milwaukee, like full go back and plays more. He's been basically out the whole year. I would know that he's on my team.
Yeah, he's played they've played 100 minutes all season with Middleton, Holiday, and Giannis on the floor, something like that. So, they need him to be healthy. If he is not healthy, it swings over to Boston for me.
I would agree with you. Brad, a lot of fun to have you in. I know thanks, March Madness NCAA tournament's coming up. You're going to take the whole first week off and just watch games?
Always do.
Always do.
Since being a working professional, that Thursday and Friday of the opening weekend, I have not worked. So
you have a favorite. This year's tournament seems like it's as wide open as maybe ever been.
I have watched so little college basketball this year. I think I caught some of like the Iowa-Illinois game a couple of weeks ago.
Alabama and
I
Tennessee
I did see Lenardi's projected 1 seeds, and I was like, is this for the football tournament? For the football playoffs? It was wild. And then you look at his last 4 in, it was 3 of the 4 were Kentucky, North Carolina, and there was one other, it was Clemson and one other like regular team that you expect to see in the playoffs. You're like, what is happening?
Mm-hmm. It's kind of an upside-down year in college basketball. There's been no dominant team, which means it's going to be a very, very fun NCAA tournament. No doubt about that. Always fun when we have Brad Jones in studio as well. Good to have you back in for the first time. We'll make sure it's not like 2 months before we have you in again.
Sounds like a plan to me.
One more break for us. We'll take one here. We'll come back. Plenty left to get to here on the Insiders on a Friday.
This is the Insiders on your home for NDSU sports. Bison 1660.
Man, this is some of the best coffee I've ever had. Where'd you bring me?
Bab's Coffee House. I love this place for coffee. And you have to try some of their homemade baked goods.
Oh my goodness. This is incredible. Plus, this place is really chill and homey feeling.
I know. And you know what goes well with a cup of coffee?
What?
Another cup of coffee.
Enjoy the taste of Seattle right here in Fargo at Bab's Coffee House. Near the corner of Broadway and Main Avenue. Online, babscoffeehouse.com.
Save now on premium mattresses, pillows, bases, and linens at Accord Comfort Sleep Systems directly across from Olive Garden. Find the best mattress design and construction with our exclusive technologies, such as our Accord Comfort Reflex Layer, ensuring proper spinal alignment. Our Thermodyne Climate Control fabric is perfect for the couple sleeping hot and cold. Buy it today and take it home today, or free delivery in the FM metro area. Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, you're going to love sleeping with us.
Love is in the air.
It's a brand new day.
Birds are singing duets together.
And squirrels are chasing each other across the treetops.
Everyone has a twinkle in their eye.
Boom, chicka-boom.
Don't let junk get in the way.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
And you'll be back to your old self again.
We've got magic in our fingertips.
And that's why everyone starts dancing.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK.
Or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
It's a new year and a great time to remind you that you should have 2 routine dental visits a year. The best way to stop dental issues is to detect them early or stop them from happening in the first place. It's Amanda, and I smile with confidence because of the team at About Smiles Dental. They've been caring for my family's smiles for years. At About Smiles Dental, their name says it all. Your smile is their top priority. Plan ahead and call now to book your appointments. We love the team at About Smiles Dental, and you will too.
About a month ago, we had some unexpected plumbing issues. We called Valley Service Mechanical in a panic and were pleasantly surprised with the professional that came to our rescue. He took the time to explain the issues to us, and you could really tell he enjoyed what he was doing and the pride he had representing Valley Service Mechanical.
When your heating and cooling needs help and your plumbing is on the fritz, call Valley Service Mechanical, 701-293-5701. Online at valleyservice.net.
Shop the largest new
new vehicle inventory in the area, only at Corwin Auto. Corwin Auto has over 600 new vehicles available, and one of them can be yours. You heard me. Over 600 new cars, trucks, SUVs, and crossovers for you to choose from. With inventory like that, you don't have to settle. Find exactly what you are looking for. Have a trade? Get top dollar when you purchase any new in-stock or incoming unit. What are you waiting for? Head to any Corwin Auto location today or shop online, corwinauto.com.
When you're in love and ready for that next big step, celebrate with the perfect ring that says, I choose you. At Wimmer's Diamonds, our jewelry experts will help you find the engagement ring that says, I want to spend my life with you. The ring that declares commitment. The ring that has her or him saying yes. At Wimmer's Diamonds, we believe in love, now and forever. Located at 4582 32nd Avenue South in Fargo.
Snow, ice, and below zero temps. Typical Midwest weather, but not so kind to your vehicle. That's why Jiffy Lube of Fargo is here to make sure you have your vehicle in top working condition and ready for these winter roads and temps. Oil changes are the #1 maintenance item that's neglected. At Jiffy Lube of Fargo, no appointment needed at any of the 3 locally owned locations. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, where you can do more in a jiffy. Jiffy Lube of Fargo, proudly serving the metro area for 5 decades.
There's so many things on the mind of ag operators. This is Scott Zelendik with Cornerstone Bank. Right-sizing your farm operations, interest rates, and inflation are hot-button issues, and for good reason. These concerns require a specialized approach. At Cornerstone Bank, we're here to help businesses, ag operations, and individuals when they're making important decisions about their money. We're a locally owned and managed community bank, and we've been specializing in ag banking for generations. Come see the experts at Cornerstone Bank.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Bison Nation, this is NDSU quarterback Cam Miller.
This one is a keeper by Miller, left side touchdown.
And you're listening to The Insiders on Bison 1660.
Tiger just saved par again. I mean, that's good. I'd like to see some birdies.
This is a wild ride of a round.
You have been up and down.
Tiger Woods fan. He's smoked some drives. He's hit some terrible putts. He's hit some good putts, some bad shots, some good shots. I mean,
I thought for a minute you really liked Brad Jones' prediction of the Warriors to come out of the West. You were like, yeah, what Warriors? And I was like, nah, I bet you Tiger just did something.
Yeah, par saves won't win the tournament, though, unfortunately. But it'll be good enough to make the cut.
Yeah, I just need him to make the cut and give me something to do this
Keep
weekend.
you around and keep you interested. Yeah. That's all you really need. Justin Thomas also putting for par. He's been pretty good here. He's now at 4 under, so JT making a move.
Yeah, he's been kind of up and down this round as well. He got all the way down, I think, to 1 under, and then he had 3 birdies.
Rory's at 5 under.
He bogeyed 2 of his first 4, and then birdied 3 of his next 7. So been kind of up and down for him as well.
Golf is a cruel game.
It really is.
Go up and you go down, just like that. This hour of The Insiders, though, brought to you by Wimmer's Diamonds. For 103 years, they've watched you fall in love and stay in love, providing beautiful reminders to celebrate all your special moments. Wimmer's Diamonds, 4582 32nd Avenue South here in Fargo, bringing you this hour of The Insiders on Friday. We should mention some news from yesterday from one Pete Thamel on Twitter. It basically covers all of college football, has a lot of the breaking news for college football there. Pete Thamel with ESPN had a tweet yesterday. It has to do with NDSU football and a possible coaching search now again for NDSU. As he says, that Cody Morgan from North Dakota State is set to be hired by Kent State as the school's new special teams coordinator and safeties coach. Says Kent State set to hire Cody Morgan from North Dakota State as school's new special teams coordinator and safeties coach. So the Bison might be looking for another assistant coach.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I guess I haven't really paid attention. Usually, coaching changes you feel like are somewhat set in place at this point. But Cody's been here. I got to know him a little bit. He's a great guy. Been great for the community of Fargo. Been here for a while, I believe, since 2018, and has done a really nice job. Kind of worked his way up into this role, and obviously the special teams I thought was pretty good last year. Has been good for quite some time, and it's one of those things. Once again, you're sad to see him go, and you can't do anything but wish him and his wife, who are expecting, by the way, wish him nothing but the best.
Congratulations to them. Yeah, took over special teams just last year. New on his plate last year. Yeah. Right away, blocked field goals returned for touchdowns. Yeah, I think there was a couple of kicks returned for touchdowns, and just good stuff there on the special teams. Some blocked punts and blocked field goals too. So Special teams were really good, and so you coach the safeties. And what are we talking about now? Where are you going to get safeties? They had such good safeties last year that are both graduating, and that was all partially because of the coaching from Cody Morgan, and obviously the talented players that you had there too, and Tutsi and Weber. But moving on to Kent State, congratulations to him. Again, you get that opportunity to go to that next level, coach at the FBS level. It's good for him. Again, sad to see him go. He's been a great guy to get to know a little bit and to be around the community and around the program. But best of luck to him in his new step. It means that the Bison will be looking for another coach on the defensive side. Doesn't necessarily mean you're looking for a safeties coach. I know Jason Petrino, the new D coordinator, has worked with secondary players as like a position coach in the past. You might have him work with safeties a little bit more. I know, obviously, in the past, you had Buda Williams was D-ends coach. Nick Gazer was D-tackles coach. This last year, Nick Gazer was all defensive line. Correct. So you might go and get a D-ends coaching set. There's different things you could do is basically what I'm saying.
Exactly, yeah. I think that's going to be that's the question. Where does Coach Hens want to go with this? Does he want to go find another safeties coach and leave? Because as we were talking about, I believe David Braun didn't coach one individual position last year, which has not always been the case. That is
before that he coached safeties.
Correct. In the NFL, it's almost always that case. The defensive coordinator never has a position that they coach. They just kind of oversee everything, obviously call the defense, come up with a game plan. So that was partially new for NDSU last year. So do they stick with that? Does Jason Petrino not have a position that he's coaching? Or like you said, does he go to safeties? You hire a D-ends coach, you go with a safeties coach. There's a couple different options, as you mentioned, Andy, and as always, it's what makes the offseason interesting.
Yeah. I think it's kind of like the NFL draft a little bit.
A little bit.
You go with best player available, right?
Yeah.
Well, if Coach Hens knows he knows a lot of coaches out there, but if he thinks there's a great coach that he thinks could be really, really good, and that coach happens to coach defensive ends, I'm not going to say no just because he doesn't coach safeties. He's got options where you can fill in that safeties role a little bit, or coaching of the safeties role. If there's a great guy out there he thinks coaches safeties and does special teams work, well, bring him on in. It's exactly what you just have to replace here with Cody Morgan moving on to Kent State. So some possible changes there on the defensive side. And again, like we had with the other two coaching hires, you do have time to get it done. You're only here on February 17th. I know spring ball is getting close, but plenty of time clearly before the next season gets going for NDSU. I'll see what they do there for that position on the coaching staff. But again, congratulations to Cody Morgan. It's been great to get to know him and excited for his next step. Didn't really talk to you much about David Braun leaving. We talked to Jason Petrino yesterday, but what do you think you lose in a guy like David Braun that had been around here for a while? I know there were some fans who were like, man, the defense wasn't as good last year, but I thought it was one of his better coaching performances dealing with all the injuries they had and still were able to be a pretty formidable defense.
Yeah, I think given the standard of NDSU, often that's what we measure it up against, right? How does the defense stack up with the years before, the glory years of NDSU, which are still here, essentially, and I don't think we gave the coaching staff enough credit for what they did last year. I think you could make the argument that that team overachieved given everything that they had to overcome, given all the injuries that people that had left the year before. You could make that argument. That won't happen here in Fargo, and I understand why, and I'm fine with that. We have a very high expectations. We have a very high standard, and that's completely fine. But yeah, I got to know Coach Braun a little bit as well. He came in right off the bat, a young defensive coordinator, and I thought he did a phenomenal job. And again. And I think Coach Hens does a really good job of this, is just hiring really good people. And from what I got to know from Coach Braun, that's what he seemed like. And I can't blame him. I know you guys have talked about, he's going to a Big Ten school. There's a lot of things that come with that. A lot of other doors that will open. Obviously, the salary everyone knows about. But you can't blame him for taking that opportunity. It's just like any coach that leaves. You miss it. You're going to miss them. But you can kind of understand it at times, and I think Coach Hens did a really good job, as we talked about yesterday, finding another really good defensive coordinator and guy with the pedigree of showing some improvement with defenses in some of the places he has gone. So you miss him, you wish him the best, and looking forward to and excited to see what Coach Petrino will bring to this defense next year.
A couple of texts have come into the text line, 701-476-1660. AJ saying at the start of the show, best win of the year. KC is a tough place to play at. Excellent defense and domination down low for NDSU men's basketball. I would agree, one of their better wins of the year, considering you're going on the road, difficult place to play, and a good quality team that they've struggled against in Kansas City the last couple of years. They get the win there. I wouldn't know if I say best win of the year. Beating SDSU at home was a pretty good one for a lot of reasons.
Right before Frisco, too, wasn't it? Was that right before Frisco?
Right before, yep. It was a huge win, though, last night for the men, because also Now you face Oral Roberts, so you've already got a win on the road on this road trip. You didn't want to go 0 for 2 on it, so you got one win on the road trip at least.
Love the momentum that they got from this one. I would argue that the win out in Portland in the non-conference schedule, Dave Richmond was saying that was probably one of his best wins of his career at NDSU for a non-conference win, at least.
Yeah, and there's a lot of good wins this year and starting to rack up a few more here at the end of the season. And then Todd in Kenmare also texting in says, why in women's basketball do they call the ticky-tack moving screen but don't seem to call it a lot in men's basketball? Great question, Todd. Appreciate the text in. I'm not one to criticize officiating. I do think there's some times, and it's not even just officials. I think there's some fans that call for fouls, and I'm like, I didn't really see much there. I think there is a tendency sometimes to call it less physical and call more fouls in the women's game because it's not the men's game. There's that thought in people's minds. I'm not that way. These are D1 athletes. They let them be physical. If it steps over the line of a foul, then obviously call it. But I do think there's sometimes, and maybe last night was one of them, with 52 fouls in the game where just weren't allowed to play very physical, unfortunately.
Yeah, that is interesting. What do you know what the average is in a typical
it's not
women's
52,
game?
I know
it's
tell you
not
that much.
but I've just started that just seems like when you told me that when I first came in here, I was like, that just seems astronomical, like that number.
There's a lot of games, I think if you get to 40, it's kind of like, that's kind of high.
That's pretty high, yeah.
Yeah, so something in the upper 30s, maybe low 40s is probably somewhere around average, but 52 definitely is not the average for a game. There was a lot of whistles. Yeah. It's hard to get any momentum in a game, but one more opportunity on Saturday. Come on out, watch this women's basketball team. Noon tomorrow, 12 o'clock, right at noon is when tip-off is. Get on out there, bring your paper airplane, a chance to win a free round for 4 at Oxbow Country Club as well at that game tomorrow at noon. And then Sunday, NDSU Wrestling, Battle of the Border Bell, NDSU and SDSU inside the Benson Bunker Fieldhouse Sunday at 2 p.m. And shout out to Bison Baseball again, getting their season underway. Talked with Tyler Oakes earlier on in the program. They get their season underway today against Sacramento State. Best of luck to Bison Baseball. And softball continues their early season tests out in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico.
Not a bad place to be.
They got a win yesterday over Sacramento State, so congratulations to Darren Mueller and the softball team. As we say goodbye, let's give away our final 4-pack of tickets for NDSU women's basketball against ORU. People have been calling in all show long for these ones. Final 4-pack to caller number 3, 701-476-1660 for a family 4-pack to NDSU and ORU. Kyle, thanks for stopping in this week. Been a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime,
one more update.
Man.
What are we at? 2 under still?
He's still at 2 under and off the green on a par 3. 242-yard par 3. What are you hitting there, Andy? Driver?
Probably my 3-wood.
Driver plus?
Yeah, probably a 3-wood just because it's more accurate. That'll do it for us on the show. On Monday, Dexter Warner will join us, and also Athletic Director Matt Larson on the program on Monday. Have a great weekend, Bison Nation.
Invest in your community with Epic Companies. Hey, this is Mac. Have you been looking to diversify your portfolio and dive into real estate? We offer multiple types of investing through our mixed-use buildings and entertainment plazas. If you are an accredited investor and interested in hearing more about the investment process and how you can be part of enhancing the quality of life in the area, visit epiccompaniesnd.com to review our investment options. That's epiccompaniesnd.com.
What do concussions, sports injuries, post-COVID long hauler, and chronic pain all have in common? Inflammation. At Healing with Hyperbarics, we are treating your inflammation the natural way with 100% oxygen, no referral needed, same-day appointments, and weekend availability. Now is the time to let us help you heal. Check us out on our website, healingwithhyperbarics.com, or on Facebook. Healing with Hyperbarics is your one-stop shop for total body wellness, conveniently located on 45th Street in Fargo.
Other value menus have burritos, maybe even nachos. But only Taco John's Valuest menu has the cheese-loving audacity to put nachos inside a burrito. With crunchy tortilla chips, creamy nacho cheese, and zesty sauces, our new Nacho Crunch burritos pack 2 melty faves into one. Try them with seasoned beef for just $2, or grilled chicken for $3. This might be our cheesiest menu ever. The Valuest menu, only at Taco John's. Bigger, bolder, better. Download our app, earn free food.
Experience is what builds the future of glass at Cardinal IG in Fargo. Cardinal IG is leading the industry in the development of superior glass for the residential window industry. Their highly motivated and talented